Okay. Where you guys are. Here you are. Okay. Hi, Kathleen. Hi, Ashbish. Hold on. Am I in? No, I'm not in live chat. Okay, let's see. Ashbish. Yep, I'm coming. Your late night show is coming. Hi, Lisa, Dameron. Hi, Nana Owens. How are you? Jen Grill. Hi. Rossi. Hello there. Alyssa. Hi. Let's see. Love Life Gal. Hi. You Uncrimey. Hello there. Now my chat just went away. Stacy Miller. Hi there, everybody. Can you hear me okay? Sorry I was late. Like everybody and their brother was calling me as I was going live. I wonder if Dom's parents ever sued Kenzie well, you think that they would sue for wrongful death, right? They should both be able to sue for wrongful death. You know, especially because, yeah, they should both be able to sue for that. Okay, let me just see if you guys can hear me. You can hear me, and there's no echo, right? Okay, no. All right. Let me just get a couple of sips of my coffee that I just made. It's changing here. The weather's changing. So I had to get the rest of the plants in. Hi, Abuelita. You're number 17. Thank you. I had to get the plants in. We had to get some boats in and to put some shells away and stuff like that. And so did a bunch of things like that. I groomed all 3 dogs yesterday. That was great. It's raining like cats and dogs right now. So, but hopefully our internet will stay on and stuff, and we're going to go on and get to this. Glad I finally showed up. Sorry, I had some phone calls. Okay. Let me get my glasses, which are right here. They're dirty as usual. So they were having when we last left, our text, you need rain so bad in Virginia. Hope you get some. So when we last left our couple here, hi, Dank Menace, how are you? They were fighting about what is it what they were fighting about? Isn't that weird that I'm like drawing about, let's see what was. They were fighting about. Does anybody remember what they were fighting about? We're on page 29,249. They were fighting about her being mean and him not going to take it anymore. Isn't that where we were? Okay, so hi MS. L, I didn't see you come in here. I see Jen saying it. I'm not seeing. Hi MS. Okay, L. If you're brand new here, my name's Carolyn, and you're watching True Crime Chat with Mommy Ramblings. Dom's blue, Kenzie's green. We are on page 29,000. What did I just tell you? 249. And the date is, put your glasses all the way on, Carolyn. April 25th of 2022. April 25th of 2022. Hi, MSL. Now I see you. Hey, Bronco Daddy. How are you? Bronco Daddy says the turning point seemed to be Kenzie getting her license for whatever reason. The turning point? Really? You think it was because she was pretty darn mean and everything prior to that, right? I don't know. We were discussing that. there's a lot more to go through after these texts and stuff. But anyway, yeah, but thank you for your perspective on that, Bronco. I'm going to make myself a postage stamp now so you can see the text. Okay. I think that should be good now. Let me just make sure it catches up. Hi, Twisted. How are you? Thanks. Thank you, everybody, for joining us tonight. Appreciate it. Oh, think about it. Let me know if you guys want to do the movie night tonight after the text. Members, Patreons, whatever, we go into a Zoom, you come and you watch movies, you watch a movie with us, watch a documentary or true crime, something like that. Some of the choices could be that unknown number or something else. Okay? You guys think about if you want to do the movie night. Maybe I'll put a poll up and leave it up, okay? Let me do that. Okay, do the poll. Do the poll. When I put up volume 2 on the phone calls, volume 3 will be up tomorrow. Go bowling. Okay, there's your poll. So you guys can do that. Now let's see. I'm so glad I found your channel. It feels like such a close, you love it. Oh, we are on Criminy. We even go on vacations. Really. We have been going on vacations in South Carolina since 2022 together. A lot of us have met in real life. So yeah, it is a very tight community. Okay. I'm glad you found us too. All right, so now you can see, let me see if the things are, I think the things might be a little too big. Let me make sure they're gonna be okay. Well, let me get rid of myself up here. We don't need 2 postage stamps of me. We only need 1 postage stamp of me. Okay, so I think I have to make this a little smaller. Okay, I hope that's good. Let me just see if I move this a little bit down that you can see Dom's message in total. Yeah, okay. No further ado. Mackenzie says, I mean, when you asked me the same question that I just answered, I'm going to ask you if you can effing read. And then she says, she's questioning everything. Do you have 2 hours for this to be resolved or you are single? I would choose wisely. I would be replying to, you're not trying to resolve the problem or chase. Oh, that's the thing. He had to chase her, right? Mm-hmm. So why would I change for you if you can't even change or chase? And to be honest, this is still Kenzie, we shouldn't even be together right now. I shouldn't have gotten back with you after you cheated on me with Emily. I gave you another chance and you said you were going to be better, and clearly you haven't been. Dom says, yeah, I've been way better. You agreed to treat me with compassion and empathy and respect. And guess what? I've got none of that. Kenzie says, no, you haven't been better, to be honest. I would know. He says, so not, I'm asking for no narcissistic behavior. Oh, that's right. He called her the narcissist. Now, he said, now I'm asking for no narcissistic behavior. And she says, and I'm asking you to chase and prove that you actually want to be in a relationship with me. Hi, Buckingham. Hi, Puddin'. Okay. And then Kenzie says, with the way you're acting, clearly you do not care about this relationship or my feelings. If I was you, I would be trying really hard to fix this relationship because so serious when I say if this isn't fixed by 12, then there's not a relationship anymore. And it's 10:22 at this time, so it's got to be fixed by 12. Dom says, Kenzie, if I wanted to leave you, do you think I'd text you for 8 hours straight, asking you to change when you're just responding with the same things I'm telling you not to do? No, I gave you like a million chances today to not say some narcissistic shite back to me, and you can't. You're showing me you're only thinking of yourself. I'm not doing anything till you at least try and make an effort to change, and you haven't, because every time you just say something back to me to throw shade or point the finger. So stop trying to put this on me. I am done. If you don't do anything to change this and want to break up with me at 12, then fine, do it. Kenzie says, this is now the 5th time I'm telling you I cannot change tonight because there's nothing I can't do to show you. She says, why are you not understanding this? How come you can't chase like you said you were going to? Dominic says, try. Because you're not trying. And Kenzie says, I wouldn't effing be texting you all day if I wasn't trying. Are you effing serious? Question marks, question marks, question marks, question marks. And then she says, this is exactly what I mean by not chasing. If you wanted to chase, you would. Dom says, you're trying, but not trying to change your act at all. Kenzie says, you're not trying or changing. You're not doing either of those things. So why are you being a hypocrite? And she goes on to say, now for the 6th time, I'm telling you that I cannot change because there's nothing that I can show you tonight. It's going to take time. I don't know how many times I have to tell you this to get it through your effing head. Honestly, if it hits 11 o'clock and you're still being mean to me, I'm done. Dom says you can start by not saying, get it through your effing head. That's exactly what I'm talking about. Kenzie says, well, it's kind of getting old now that I have said the same thing 6 times, and that's why I'm saying, get it through your effing head. You keep making me repeat the same things over and over again. You're just rubbing my nose in this thing like a revolving door, and I'm effing over it. And she says, dude, I would answer right now, like you're making me so mad. She says, so childish. And Kenzie goes on to say, this is not how my relationship is going to work. You are mentally draining. Dom says, it's kind of getting old now. You're just mean as F. Repeating the same habits, can't even say you're going to change without a backhand with it trying to shade me. You mentally drain me. That's why I'm telling you to change. I'm done for real. Like, I'm really about to just stop responding. Kenzie says, oh, and now you're going to make me sleep here, huh? I mentally drain you for not babying you when you hit your head on my car, because that's literally how this started, because I went home when you hit your head. Dom says, no, Kenzie, that's not it at all. I just decided to bring it up after. She says, then what is it? And why aren't you answering all my questions? Dom says, Kenzie, I'm done talking to you till you start trying and stop arguing with me. And now I mean it. And then he says, no backsided apologies or anything. Kenzie says, I'm asking you, what is the reason and what did I do to cause you calling me a narcissist? If it's not you hitting your head on my car door, then what is it? It is 11. You have 1 hour. I thought she said, yeah, he already went back on it. I would answer now, though, she says. Then she says, I'm not trying to argue with you. I'm asking you, what's the reason that you're calling me a narcissist? 2-minute timer starting. He said, I told you all the reasons. My head has nothing to do with it. She says, I'm saying, why are you telling me this? Like, what did I do to make you think this way? He already told you, Kenzie, stop it. And you can't answer my question, so I think you're just trying to argue. Dom says, I told you that. I've been telling you for a while about your compassion, and now I realize today you show many narcissistic traits towards me. She says, you're still not answering my question. I'm asking you, I'd like to know the exact situations. And then she says, it's 11:11, so time is almost up. He says, what is your exact question? She said, tell me examples of situation, because this didn't just come out of nowhere. Like, what action did I do for you to call me a narcissist other than me not caring that you hit your head? Dom says, many things. It's over and over, and now I realize. She says, okay, I'm asking you to give me examples. 11:20 question marks. To be honest, I don't want to end this, but I will because I know my worth. He says, Kenzie, I pointed out while we were texting, like, look back, look at our text messages. She says, I'm still waiting for examples. He said, I'm not doing this. When you act narcissistic, I'll tell you. She says, major girl, never let your girl go to bed mad. And I honestly can't believe you didn't let me sleep at your house tonight, too. That's also majorly an F up. This is not narcissistic. I'm asking you to give me examples. He says, well, the main thing you did immediately is gaslight me. You tried to say I have mental problems. She said, well, I'm not asking you about gaslighting. I'm asking you how I'm a narcissist. And you told me you have bipolar disorder. Saying I'm bipolar and other things, Dom says. Kenzie says, you told me you have that. Dom says, and that's the reason I'm saying that. I don't have that. Kenzie says, then why did you tell me you do? Dom says, even if I did, it's still narcissistic. Kenzie says it's not. Dom says, yes, it is. Kenzie says, you told me you are. Dom says, okay, I'm bipolar. She says, major rule, never let your girl go to bed mad. And I honestly can't believe you didn't let me sleep at your house tonight because that's a majorly a F up. He said, that's still narcissistic. It's not, Kenzie says. And Dom says, okay, I'm not arguing. I'm done. Kenzie says, so you can tell me I'm a narcissist, but I can't tell you you're bipolar. And then she puts that major girl. Oh my gosh. He says, see, this is why I'm not texting you. She says, not arguing. You're ignoring my texts. He says, Kenzie, okay, don't text for 1 minute and I'll explain. She says, so I'm repeating myself, question marks. Dom says, so I have a problem. That is a reasonable problem. I say, Kenzie, I have a problem with this. You consider this. You go, ha ha, must be a joke. You're being bipolar or something. So whether I'm bipolar or not, gaslighting has nothing to do with what you have. You are right there trying to blow it off like it's nothing because I'm bipolar, making the gaslighted victim question their sanity more. All it is making someone question whether they thought it was valid by saying that they have a mental illness. You understand now? Also, major trait is immediately pointing the finger back or trying to change the attention on the other person. So example, I have a problem with, etc. A narcissist would say a number of things like, oh yeah, well, I have a problem with this. Well, if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't act like this. Well, you did this, so why does it matter? So first response is changing the argument to the other person, saying that they have a problem with them, not acknowledging the problem against them. He says, actually, I ain't going to explain, all self-explanatory. She says, I love how you don't care enough to fix the problem. 2 hours and you couldn't fix it. He says, Kenzie, you're saying I have to fix a problem when all I did was ask you to change. Why didn't you text back? Are you still up? And you can always sleep over here. And then he says, I'm sorry I said that, but you do treat me like that, and I don't like it. I feel bad thinking I called you a narcissist, but that wasn't my point. It's more about how you treat me in those ways. I love you, Kenzie, and I don't want to fight. I want to be together forever. She says, I'm sorry, but yeah, I'm cool. Good job chasing and answering fast, by the way. He said, I was getting a haircut. Good job answering my questions, too, she says. Then she says, I didn't ask if you were getting a haircut for real. Well, that's so dumb, Kenzie. And then she says, so what's the reason you're not answering first now? Are you trying to make this worse or something? Dom says, I'm driving my mom's car and never drove it. My bad, not seeing the texts. Just trying to focus on the road after all these accidents. She says, still has not answered any of my questions or previous texts. Dude, I'm about to be done for real this time. Like this must be a joke. He says, call me then. She says, I'm cool. You're sorry, but yeah, I'm very cool on that. If you want to be together forever, start acting like it. He says, how am I not acting like it? She says, yeah, to be honest, I'm still mad. What about what you said about my modeling? I don't even know if I can forgive you for that. And you couldn't even chase and fix the problem before 12 o'clock. He says, what was the problem to fix? I was the one who had the problem with how you treat me. She says, once again, good, not chasing. He says, how? Why you keep trying to make this about me? She says, you said sorry. I'm sorry, but. He says, yeah, I was saying I'm sorry. I was calling you that, and it makes me feel bad to say that, but I do have a problem with how you treat me. Why can't I be sorry about us fighting, but still stand by what I was saying? She says, saying you're sorry, then saying but makes your apology mean nothing. Hi, Just Pepper. He says, it really doesn't, but you can think that. Hi, Serenity Trek. She says, I guess I'm going to have to just wait for it to start giving effort and trying. He says, you keep making this more of a fight. We don't even have to be fighting anymore. You said you'd try, but then you keep trying to make it about me, and that's why we keep fighting. She says, and you said you were chasing. You're clearly not doing that. And this is about you. I said I was going to be more compassionate, but you have yet to show change. All this conversation has been giving as you shiting on what I like. And yeah, you can see the fight is over, but I'm still not going to forgive you ever. about what you said about my modeling. And he says, that's what I'm talking about. You've only tried to point the finger back at me when I was the one who had a problem. That was off the top of my head. And I said that wasn't even part of my argument at all. I didn't even mean that. She says, and maybe this fight would have gone differently if you just came at me without telling me I'm a narcissist. You could have just asked me to be more compassionate and not trying to diagnose me. She says, I don't care if you didn't mean it. Clearly it came out of your head and you were thinking it, and you still do. And you still said it, sorry. He says, well, for a second, I really considered it by the way you treat. I'm sure he means me. We have a narcissist empath relationship. She says, no, we do not. And if you feel that way, like I said before, end this relationship. And this is now the 8th or 9th time that I've told you to stop referring to me as a narcissist. You are not a doctor or therapist. Just because you read one of your little books does not mean you know everything. Why the F would I want to be around you if this is how you are? And there you are, admitting what you said about my modeling is what you meant, and that is effing disgusting. This fight is never going to be over with you. And this is exactly what I mean. Your apology means nothing. You're clearly not sorry. Okay, do I have to set a 5-minute timer or something? I know you're not doing this right now. I would be answering right now. I would answer right now. Dom says no. I said I really thought about you being a narcissist for a second by the way you treat me. Nothing to do with your modeling. She says, no, you said I want to be a model because I need the attention. And I will never forget that. He says, disregard the modeling part. That was off the top of my head. She says, that is a effing repulsive. And that's why you earned your way to never coming to any of my photo shoots ever again. Oh, she says, is that what I'm supposed to do? Just forget about it. He says, Kenzie, whatever. Kenzie, in our relationship, you're the narcissist and I'm the empath, and it's not right. And I'm not dealing with it anymore. She says, then break up with me. He says, I don't hold shite over your head when you're saying gross shite to me. She says, because you're definitely not an empath. I don't know where you're getting that from. And there you are calling me a narcissist again. Clearly you have some underlying issues going on. He says, whatever, Kenzie. When you want to be chill, you can talk to me. I didn't even say we had to break up now. I just told you to change the way how you treat me, or we'll eventually have to break up. And then he says, I asked you if you ever thought about it, and you just got mad and started calling me bipolar and saying I'm having a tantrum. I didn't just say you're a narcissist. I said, you ever thought about it? She says, well, it kind of was a tantrum because this all started because you hit your head on my car door and I didn't care. Have you ever thought about going to school to be a doctor since you think you're so good at diagnosing people? And she says, then she says, I'm chill AF. I would be answering right now, fast. And she says, clearly you don't give a single F about this relationship, because if you did, you would have fixed it before 12 o'clock last night. And clearly you couldn't do that. He says, see, there you go again. You feel the need to throw shade in every sentence. Even when you said you'd work on your compassion, you were throwing shade and all the messages with it. And Kenzie says, no, I'm not throwing shade. I asked you a question since you think you can diagnose people. Clearly, you don't give a single F about this relationship because if you did, you would have fixed it before 12 last night, and you clearly couldn't do that. He says, Kenzie, I'm not diagnosing anyone. I was telling you facts about narcissism and narcissistic relationships. She says, no, that's you trying to diagnose me right there. She says, do you see how easy it is to answer fast and chase too? He says, if I didn't give a single F when you say nasty shite to me, I'd break up with you. She says, no, this is not about how you talk to someone you want to spend the rest of your life with, apparently. Dom says, you talk to me terrible every day. She says, if you want to be with me forever, then prove it and show me that you want to, because right now, I don't believe a single word coming out of your mouth. And then she says, then give me some examples, because that's something you couldn't do last night, because I know I don't treat you terrible every day. And that is effing disgusting that you say that. He says, shite, I blow it off half the time because I don't want to remember and be mad about it. Kenzie says, I unpack all your groceries from Florida. I always do your dishes. I always clean your house. Like, what the F is wrong with you? Is it because we don't have sex or something? Question mark. He says, yeah, I appreciate you, Hella, but you're mean to me about lots of things. She says, like what? Why can you not give examples? Question marks. Clearly, it's not that important if you can't effing remember a single thing. He says, like, okay, if I don't do something exactly how you want it, instead of being like, can you do this, or having patience, you're mean and say, I'm terrible at it, or some shite. She says, I haven't done that in a long time, an effing long time. So what? That can't be the only thing that makes you think I'm a narcissist. I'm getting effing set up in this relationship. And if this isn't resolved by the end of today, fed up, she says. He says, what has to be resolved? I said, I didn't mean a lot of it, and said, how you treat me is like that. Then he said, like, you don't need an example. Just wait and see. And when you do it, you'll know. She says, you're the only one who has been trying to hurt me these last 2 days. And then he says, and if you don't, then you don't. Problem solved. She says, shite on my modeling and trying to say I'm not a good person. Like, literally, no, you clearly do not know me at all. And then she says, can you fake apologize and then just be mean again? Yeah, right. Then he says, no, wasn't trying to do that at all. And then she says, I don't care what you were trying to do. You could have just told me to be more compassionate in this conversation. And this conversation would have been over. Yeah, I'm sure it would have. He says, I was just saying how you treat me. That was one text message out of 1,000. So thanks for listening good. She says, you chose to shite on me and try to diagnose me instead of just saying that. He says, yeah. And I said, I was sorry for using that word. She says, you did not, and you are still saying it. He says, so does that apology mean nothing like your other ones? Excuse me. She said, So I'm sorry, let me go back on that. Mackenzie says, so does that apology mean nothing like your other ones? And Dom says, yeah, I did that. Was the text message this morning. I said, I feel bad calling you a narcissist. I wasn't trying to get that across. I was trying to get across the point of you treating me like a narcissist. Kenzie says, well then, why did you say sorry? And then proceed to call your sister again after you apologized and you said, I'm sorry, but that's not an apology. Honestly, this isn't fixed. In 30 minutes, I'm done. I would be replying fast, she says. He says, I didn't call you that. I was saying I still stand by a lot of what I said. He says, I was saying the way you treat me. Kenzie says, do you think you treat me good? Because we can play that game too. When's the last time you effing got me flowers? When's the last time you just did something nice for me? When's the last time you cared about me being sick? Oh, that's right. You probably can't think of anything. He says, when we were on the way there, I drove way extra when I was in pain. She said, you really make me regret doing anything nice for you. He says, and didn't even tell you I was in pain. She says, you act like you don't know me at all. He says, I mean, I took you to Florida. So there's me caring about you being sick and doing something nice for you. She says, no, that's not how this works. He says, how? She says, and you still didn't answer me about the flowers. And I wasn't talking about Florida. I'm talking about before Florida. It's weird how you can only say things from Florida too, because you're acting like you had a choice. He says, so you don't realize anything I do? You just want flowers? She says, you don't do anything is what I'm saying. You're kind of just there. You act like money is everything. And she says, the little things mean more than the big things. You don't do anything special for me. And then he says, well, almost everything you ask from me is about money, if I'm completely honest. She says, it was my idea to go to Florida, and obviously you agreed because who doesn't want to go to Florida? He says, besides flowers, I mean, those still cost money, but they're cheaper, I guess. She says, I don't care. He says, but like when I get you flowers and then what you say, just say, oh, you bought those, so it's not special. Like, no, it's the thought that counts. Taking you to Florida, taking you to dinner, all that shite makes you happy, and it's a lot of money. Do I care or complain? Not at all. She says, then don't do it. If you have such a problem with this relationship, once again, then break up with me. He says, I'm not saying I don't want to do it. I'm saying that these are little things right there, and I cook for you all the time. Like you're saying, you don't realize you put shite for me. You put away shite for me and clean. Well, I cook for you every day, take you out to dinners, put a roof over your head, take us on vacations. You get whatever you want. What do I ask from you? Clean a little and don't treat me like shite. He says, I have no problem with anything but the way you treat me. She says, I don't treat you like shite. That is the thing. But if you see it that way, then break up with me because I'm not going to give effort for someone who doesn't realize. He says, and I'm asking you to realize how you're treating me and consider it. That's all I'm asking, he says. Then he says, you're asking me to bring you flowers and stuff. Well, all I'm asking for is for you to treat me good and this not be a push-pull relationship. She says, and now for the baby, 9th or 10th time, I said I will be more compassionate. So I don't know What the F you're not getting? Maybe, she says. And then she says, I'm not going to try if you can't make me feel loved. He says, no, I know I said we don't even have a right. We don't even have to fight anymore. I haven't been trying to get at anything. Then he says, you keep bringing things up. I tried to end it this morning. I said I was sorry for saying that, but I still want you to treat me differently. She says, you said you're sorry, but that's not an apology. Then you proceeded to call me a narcissist again. So yeah, your apologies mean effing nothing. He said, you're twisting my words. And yes, I can say I'm sorry about something and also still have a problem with something else. Why can't you get that? She says, no, that's not how it works for either. So you're sorry or you're not sorry. And clearly you're not sorry because you're still going. That's what I thought. You can't even chase and reply fast. So why am I going to change for you? He says, no, Kenzie, those are two different things. I can be sorry about one of them. And you're not trying at all either because you keep picking a fight and trying to make it about me. She says, because right now it is about you. He says, I said many times, she said, that I would work on my compassion, but you're still not understanding that for some reason. Then Kenzie says, honestly, if this isn't resolved by 3 o'clock, then I'm done and I'm blocking you. That's less than 20, it's 18 minutes away. Dom says, I did understand, but every time you said something smart with it, and that's why we kept fighting. She says, no. I keep saying, I don't know why you're not effing understanding because I repeated myself maybe 11 or 12 times now. And then she says, honestly, this is never going to end. I might just have to block you. You clearly do not care about this relationship or my feelings, and you're acting like you don't know me at all. And he says, yeah, because you keep going. And then he says, I know you pretty good, and I do care, but I can't deal with how you treat me sometimes. It's not right. Like you just keep bringing up something else or making it more of a fight. And then she says, I'm done for real. You're going to have to prove you actually want to be in a relationship if you want me to forgive you, because we're not going to be cool with after what you said to me. She says, I'm done. Clearly, you do not care. You're not chasing or trying to fix this. And he says, you're not trying to either. You're making it more of a fight. The only thing I've said to you really is the way you treat me is narcissistic. Like, what the actual F? Why you keep trying to fight or say, I have to do something? Dom says, that's another narcissistic situation. Don't say I'm calling you a narcissist. I'm saying this situation, when a fight occurs, the narcissist will say sorry or end the fight. The other person has to fix it every time. She says, I'm not effing apologizing for shite. You shite on my modeling, my personality. You're not getting anything from me. You might as well just break up at this point. I'm done with your shite. You wasted 2 whole days of my life just being a complete D for no reason, trying to diagnose me. And then she said, when you want this relationship to work, you can fix it because I told you I will give more compassion. You're the only one being a piece of shite right now. And then he says, I wasn't trying to diagnose or anything. This is how you keep making it a fight. You keep repeating things, and I keep saying, no, I wasn't saying that. I meant this. Like, if you can't understand that, I just want you to realize when you're treating me like shite and change it, then just break up with me. I'm good, because that's all I'm asking. And if you can't understand that, then we can't be together, because I can't be with someone who treats me like shite. She says, we might have to end this. And then she says, I'm so done with your effing BS. You act like I'm such a terrible person, like I'm not any of your family. You can either get it through your head that I'm going to work on it, or you can break up with me. And she says, I am done with your effing weird ass tactics, and it's not going to work on me. And then she says, I'm not going to be with someone who thinks they know everything because they write a book. It's honestly embarrassing. She says, if this fight is not over by 3:00, we are effing over. He says, I am getting it through. He says, I am getting it through my, aren't you getting it? She says, I don't give an F anymore. You just waste my time. He says, why aren't you getting it? I've got it through my head. I said I did so many times. She says, no, clearly you don't have it through your head. Your head not stop texting me. She says, you literally suck and you're a terrible person, and stop trying to diagnose people who have been there for you your whole life. Honestly, we might have to break up. Like, I'm so fed up with your shite. You didn't give an F and can't chase, and you just expect me to be more compassionate after I already said I would 1,000,000 times, but you can't even chase. And she says, I'm so effing glad we do not have sex. My effing body is a goddess. Oh, excuse me, is a god, is temple, and you don't deserve any bit of it with the way you talk to me. Honestly, I'm done, she says. You probably won't even be able to end this argument by 3:00 either. Well, it's 2:50, was it? Either you're too childish. He says, I can't end it because you just keep making it more of an argument. I'm not about to be done. I asked for a change and you've only fought with me for days. Like I just said, I did, that's you making it a fight again. This is you being mean and also saying something that I said I wasn't doing multiple times. You just brought up something that I told you I was trying to do already multiple times. She says 3 minutes. He says 1. How am I not chasing you? I'm devoting all my time to texting you. 2, you said you can't show me change immediately. How am I supposed to? 3, I said I'm not chasing. If you're pushing, you have been saying break up and causing problems this whole time. You trying to make me feel like I'm the problem and make me feel gross, being mean and causing more of a fight. She says 1 minute, I'm for real blocking you at 3. He says, Kenzie, you're making this more of a fight. I appreciate, he said, I already said I would chase you if you don't push or run. And I said, I understand that you are going to try. Let's see. She says, okay, I'm done. He says, and you keep making it more of a fight. She says, you keep getting blocked on my last words. He says, so block me, I guess. That's probably what you want. She says, no, I want you to be a good boyfriend, but clearly you don't care about that, and you all care about is calling me a narcissist. Okay. And then she says, any last words? And then she says, see, you probably too thick-headed. Hold on a minute. Sorry. You're probably too thick-headed to realize I'm giving you one last chance to fix this before I block you. 5, 4, 3. Kenzie, you're making it more of a problem, he says. 2. You're doing it again, making it a fight. You are the problem, she says. He says, making me explain all over again. Blocked. Then she says, oh, and by the way, if you wanted to chase, you would be texting me on Snap and other things to fix this, but you clearly are not capable of doing that. You really make me regret this whole relationship, by the way. And that's the point of you even trying now, because I told you what you can do. You're literally a effing piece of shite. You're worried about me showing compassion. I can do that in a second. He says, I'm not talking to you. I'm only nice and you call me names. Okay, she says, then we are breaking up. He says, okay, Kenzie, if you don't want to break up, I guess talk to me respectfully and I'll talk back. But if you can't, then I won't talk back. She says, if you're not going to try, then we're done. Like I don't care anymore. You're such a drainer, she says. And a effing evil liar. And then she did that eye. Okay. He says, you're not trying either. You're asking me to chase, but being mean as F about it, when all I'm asking is to not be mean as F. She says, you are mentally draining and you are mean and disrespectful and you give no Fs about how I feel. And he says, like, how does that make sense? She says, I'm probably being mean as F about it because you're not doing it. Last chance. And he says, no, Kenzie, that's you. Goodbye. She says, or we are done. He says, I'm not talking to you. That's mean as F. She says, last chance. Oh, we are over. If you care about this relationship, you will fix this. He said, nope, Kenzie, you're mean as F. If you care, you can go 20. If you care, you can go 20 minutes without being mean as F, but you can't. It's insane. She says, you can't go 20 minutes without you caring, without trying to diagnose me. But don't worry, I could just be your worst enemy. I guess that relationship is over. You wonder why I hate men. This is why. He says, and there you go, twisting my words, threatening me. You did that, you did this. Just remember, all I asked for was to be treated nicely. She said, no, you actually tried to diagnose me with narcissism. This all started because you hit your head on my car door and expected to be cradled like a effing child. He said, goodbye, Kenzie. I love you and I hope everything works out for you. She says, and I said I would treat you nicely and then you just started being mean. He said, no, I wasn't. She says, I'm going to give you one last chance to fix this. He says, I hit my head and you said you better be getting a towel. She said, if you do not start chasing and trying to fix this, then we are going to be, and then we're done for good. He says, let's see, anything? Looks like something. She says, I know you didn't just block me. He says, that was mean. He says, even if I didn't hit my head, you could have just said, grab a towel. She says, if you do not start chasing and trying to fix this, and we are done for good, if you do not start, okay, she repeated that. Oh, she's repeating the same thing again and again. If you do not start chasing and trying to fix this, we are done for good. She says, right now, You are proving you do not give a single F about me. He says, I'm fed up at this point. You can't stop saying mean things. She says, right now you're proving you do not give a single F about me or you don't love me. Okay, and then she says, somebody who loves somebody does not talk to somebody like this. I've wasted 2 whole days trying to fix this, and all you can do is diagnose me. And then she said, I'm so sorry. Flowers and chasing is so hard for you to do. He says, I'm not doing this. If I didn't love you, I would have just broke up with you. You're proving to me that you don't love me because you're trying to break up with me. I know I want you I know I want you. I'm just asking for change, and you keep twisting my words and saying something that I didn't say, or saying I'm trying to diagnose you when I was saying is you treat me like a narcissist and we have a push and pull relationship. She says, I effing said I will show compassion. Why the F are you not getting that? Why 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 are you not getting that? Question marks. Literally, why? 5. He says, yeah. And I said, I'll chase you. But then as soon as you say, you show compassion, and you keep on saying something mean right after I'm saying I'm disgusting or something, or saying some BS, then you just keep making it more and more of an argument when I've already said that I understand that you're going to show compassion. And I said that I'm going to chase you, but then you can't be mean with that. You just can't, you can't be mean with that. You just can't just not have something smart to say or something mean to come out of your mouth. 4, 3, 2, you can start chasing me right now, she says. There has to be a situation where I need to show compassion to show compassion. Dude, I'm so sorry. This is your last effing chance, Dom. He says, compassion is one part of it. She says, last chance, last chance. He says, no, this is your last chance. You can stop texting me 30 times the same thing and texting in all caps, and you can start texting me normal. And you can start being nice, because how am I going to chase you? Just say some chase you if you just say some nasty, disgusting thing back to me. Just say something mean like every single time. Like, what do you want me to do? She says, I have not said anything nasty. I want you to chase and try. He says, wow, 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 WTF. She says, why are you not effing getting this? He says, bro, are you serious? You haven't said anything mean? Question mark. Really? Like what? Please go rethink first. She says, last mean thing I said, I haven't said anything mean to since that text message. If you want this relationship to work, I would start chasing right now, because I'm literally going to be over this relationship. This is on you right now. I told you I can show compassion, and so far you have done nothing. He said, I told you I can chase, and so far you've just been mean to me and not showing compassion at all. You can only care about getting your way. You're only scared. Hold on a minute. Come on. Oh, what happened here? You're only scared. I guess he means scared there. Like, I'm getting fed up at this point. Like, I can't just tell you you have a problem in something without it being a 3-day argument. And I've never even trying to argue. You text me all caps and repeat yourself over and over again when I can read it. She says, you don't tell me there was a problem. You tried to tell me I'm a narcissist. You could have just asked me to show you more compassion, and I would have said, okay. I would answer. I would answer right now. He says, yeah, I know I felt really bad. I called you a narcissist. I feel super bad about it. But I went about the problem, not exactly how I should have, said it a little differently because the way you treat me a lot of times is narcissistic. Like I read it in a book and literally we have a black and white push-pull relationship, but that's what my apology this morning was about. I don't mean to totally call you a narcissist or say that at all. I'm just saying the way you treat me sometimes, it's like that. And it makes me feel bad. Like I just want change in our relationship. I already said I was sorry about that, but I wasn't trying to say that at first either. I was saying, would you ever consider yourself or have you ever thought about it? She says, what are you not getting? That saying that is effing rude. I don't just say, would you consider yourself to be bipolar and abusive? I don't say that shite to you. Like I said before, just because you read a book does not make you an expert. He said, that is mean. She says, no, it is not. He says, I am allowed to say, no, she's saying that I'm allowed to say you are not an expert because you read a book. Okay, so hold on a minute. I got to get it some weird. So it's getting crazy. Hi, Abuelita. I can't believe we're still going on with this freaking narcissist, not a narcissist. You are a narcissist. You're not a narcissist. You're bipolar. This is crazy, right? Oh my gosh. Let's see what you're saying. Serenity says, Dom wasn't perfect, but they were on a break. Poor guy tried harder to be a better person than someone try in a lifetime. Jess Pepper says, doesn't her fingers hurt from all of the psycho typing? Abuelito's Journey says, whoops, I got a call, I'm behind. Amy's Justice League, hi Amy, says, I would take my chances with being snitched on. Jess Pepper says, don't worry, they're still arguing about the same thing. Yeah, nobody missed anything. Alicia Nelson, hi. She says, does it seem like Kenzie got worse as time went on? You know what, Alicia? She got better for they kind of switched roles. When was it that they were switching roles? It was months back. It really did. It seemed like she was changing. Now, what I don't see here is her asking for weed all the time. I don't see her asking for, what were they, dabs all the time. I don't see her asking for that. Did she stop smoking? Well, that's strange if she stopped smoking because she had that THC in her system at the crash, right? When we saw her toxicology. Thank you, Alicia Nelson. Alicia Nelson says she is the worst. So I think we've seen her cycle at times become a little bit better and he is a little bit worse. They had a role reversal at one time, but now Dom is very controlled, very calm, really trying to change, has changed, and she is just incorrigible. It's ridiculous. Let's see. Hi, Ghost. What is that? What is your name? Hold on a minute. I don't know what your name is. Dom got her the Molly and lean. He would sell stuff. You mean weeds? What? Selling drugs and using. Early in the video, about 30 minutes, and he admitted to cheating. No, but he didn't cheat, honey. This thing with Emily, he texted her. He texted her something. He says he did it for a certain reason. She was liking guys' pictures on Instagram. He was trying to get her back. Whatever it was, he texted. She's blown it completely out of proportion and keeps saying that, okay? I don't think me, no, you know if they were or were not broke up. Just Pepper says Kenzie's been doing drugs for longer before she met Dom. She did it with her dad, who would get her stuff all the time. Let's see. Amy says, or just Pepper, he did not know how crazy she was and was afraid of what might happen. She knew she had him by the cojones, right? Okay. Hi, UHP. How you doing? She is like a drunk. There is no reasoning with them. Yeah. She just goes around in circles. She's like, we were talking about it in the Zoom earlier, like with Scooter and Linda. She's just like one of those kids that, I just imagine she had to be like, can we go get this doll? No, maybe later. Is it later now? No, not right now. I'll think about it. Did you think about it? No, I didn't have time to, can you think about it right now? To the point that, somebody go, oh my gosh, get her the freaking thing and make her shut up, right? So I think that's the kind of parenting she had. It worked for her, okay? That she just drove them crazy probably, and they gave in to whatever she wanted and to shut her up. And that's what now it's like, what is going to shut you up, right? You just like, shut up, because she's just horrendous. She won't stop. She's learned that this worked with someone, and it was probably her parents, and she's continued it and continued it. And yeah, right, Alicia? She gets to the point that this must have been working for her in her life. And it's just like, oh my gosh, stop, shut up. She's just, yeah, she's annoyed everyone, so she got what she wanted, right? Yeah. It probably started off, give her the candy, give her the soda, give her, and it just what get her the toy she wants, get her this, just shut her up. And then she's getting positive reinforcement. If she does that, she's getting what she wants. They never made her sit with any consequences, because behavior like this is like traumatizing to the people around you, because sometimes you say you're gonna parents will say, oh, I'm gonna punish the kid or something, right? You take something away, or you do something. Sometimes it causes such turmoil and like with the parent, and you've got to tough it out. A lot of parents can't tough it out. They're like, I can't take it, this is punishing me, or something they say. And I think that's probably what her parents did. Like, even if they had said, okay, no, you're going to sit in your room, or you're going in timeout, you're not getting that thing. She probably, like, these, like the people in the jail now that she's talking about, that are kicking the door and doing, like just going on and on and on. And to the point, probably, they're like, okay. So, yeah, and they're probably both like that. And maybe it's because of whatever it is, but for whatever reason, she's got positive reinforcement for this. And now she's in such a cycle. I don't think she's ever going to change. We see her, she's like this in jail too. It's crazy. And she just gets infuriating. She's a broken record. Broken. Shanta, how are you? Your tone really captures exactly how I feel about Miss Spoiled Rotten. Yeah, hi, Lex Luthor. These texts have seriously made me 100% believe she did it on purpose. Yeah, I know, because Lex Luthor, a lot of people maybe could have felt sorry for her and that she was this, but for me, what really gets to me is how many times she says she will actually kill someone. She will pull up on a house. She'll catch a felony. She'll break all the windows. She'll for real kill someone. She'll tase someone. All of that. Wow. Really shows me that she is dangerous. She has a really nice bedroom at her house. You can see in her videos. Yeah, and she hates it. She says her house is crap, her family's crap. She hates being there, blah, 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 blah. It's just on and on and on with her. Yeah. You love how she calls the people that work at the jail my staff. Yeah, I know that, her staff. And the calls tonight, she says okay, Mom, call the warden and explain to him that I need an iPad because I don't know why they're not giving us them. That someone said they think that we could use them as weapons, and hit someone. But you just tell them that I'm not going to do that. And I want to watch movies in my pod. So go and call the warden. She thinks she's going to call the shots all over. And she probably has, I don't even know how many guys writing to her that she is having whatever and stuff on the phone or whatever, or sending her money. Yeah. Threaten to call the police on Dom. Yeah, exactly. Love how she calls them. Yes, exactly. I've counted 3 premeditated texts to Dom so far. The rest have been extremely abusive and manipulative. Yeah, absolutely. So I think reading these texts really, for people that I know that there were some people in our comments who were kind of on the fence with Mackenzie, who maybe even before we read these texts through, were even defending her, who have completely turned around how they feel. And they said the reason they've turned around how they feel is because of the text. So this is important evidence. It really is. And if this had been a jury trial, the jury would have to have seen this, because it really, really explains who she is and how she thinks and what a danger she is to society. Serenity says, I think she's worse, Carolyn. Yeah, she thought Dom was her soulmate, Shanta. If you listen to volume 2 of the calls, she makes fun of Dom and about going into the army. Yeah, certainly doesn't sound like that's her soulmate that died. She speaks with such disdain and degrades him. It's terrible. Yeah, just absolutely terrible. You say, I think she's worse, Carolyn. She seems to thoroughly enjoy inflicting pain on others. She's relentless. Yeah, Serenity, she does enjoy it, she thinks, treat her like the goddess that she is. She has no faults. There's nothing that's wrong with her. She is a narcissist. She thinks she is, she said that in court. No, which one are you talking about? That she was the soulmate? Yeah, right. But she's terrible. She makes fun of his music. If this is really your soulmate that died, you wouldn't be talking like that. Exactly, 100%. She would have gotten life, period, instead of 15 to life. Classic narcissist enjoying, and Bucky says, enjoying inflicting pain on others. Remember when she was laughing because that girl had a car accident. Yeah, right, exactly. Laughing at that, where other people would be like, oh my gosh, you don't laugh at something like that. I mean, it's just crappy. It's just really being a horrible person. And there are things in the evidence where you will see she has a burn book, which I'll show you, with all these names on it and lots of things the investigators found. And it's horrible. There's so much evidence here. And yet her mother, I don't know if you listened to one of those jail calls. It might be in yesterday's volume, where she says something about, oh, and that person on his lap, like that helped, but we can't talk about that. Does she think Davion was sitting on Dom's lap Is that what she's trying to say? That Davion was sitting on Dom's lap and that didn't help? What is she even trying to say then? Is she trying to prepare herself for a wrongful death suit? Is she trying to say that Dom died because of that? What is she trying to say? Obviously, they weren't driving like that. And if she reads the description, he wasn't sitting on the lap. Dom was reclined in the seat. Davion ended up on top of Dom, but with his head by the dash. That's not sitting on his lap. That either happened because he could have been climbing up to try to stop the car or through the crash, right? Hi, fireflies. But the mother, like, trying to put out this false information and, oh, and I mean, she says the silliest things, like Kenzie goes, oh, I'm not wearing any underwear because I had to wash my underwear out in the sink. And she goes, oh, you're so cute. What? She said she's not wearing any underwear. And the mother goes, oh, you're so cute, Kenzie. Oasis says he probably wanted to join the service to get away from her. Yeah. Lex Luthor says, this proves some teenagers do not need cell phones. Dom is way more responsible, saying he's not texting because he's driving his mom's car. Yeah, right. Shante says, Davion was found face up. He would not be laying on top of Dom. Give me a break, Natalie. I know. Well, but she goes, oh, but we can't talk about that. All that extra weight on him, but we can't talk about that. And Kenzie just goes along with it. Kenzie doesn't say, Mom, Davion wasn't on Dom's lap. Right. Right, Just Pepper. Kenzie was the only one wearing the seatbelt that she usually never used. Right. Yeah, it's just so crazy. The mother, oh, and I really want to decode all of that Carney talk. Some of those calls, there is so much of that Carney talk. And they're clearly talking about somebody that was in the courtroom and one of them. I want to decode all that. Natalie even said Kenzie has a banging little right body. She's weird as well. She should, yeah, it is very strange. Very strange. Pepper says it was from the crash. Yeah, absolutely. That was so gross of her mom to say. Yeah. Yeah, I just emailed Shirilla. Oh, let me tell you guys a funny little thing. You want to hear a funny little thing? Okay, let me tell you a funny little thing. Does anybody remember how Mackenzie Shirilla's friend Faith, or how Mackenzie spells Faith's name in text with a Y? Has anybody seen that? This is really important, what I'm going to tell you now. Has anybody seen Mackenzie spell Faith's name with a Y? Easy. Isa. Isn't it Isa? Visa. Tell me if you've seen that. When she talks about faith in tech, she puts a Y, F-A-Y, and I think she does T-H-E. Okay, you've seen that, right? Well, listen to this one. So I get a comment, and I left it, I approved it, so you guys can go see it. It's in one of the it's in one of the volumes. It's either the part 1 or the part 2 or the volume 1, but I think it might be in part 2. I'm going to show you the profile, okay? And then I'm going to tell you what she wrote, all right? Let me see. I have the profile. I kept it up because I wanted to show it to you guys. Okay, here it is. Okay, now look how original this is. It says Faith, Mackenzie Shirilla's friend, okay? Profile created October 4th, 2025. Now let me tell you what comment she left, and I approved it. So anybody like you guys, if you want to go back and respond to this, you can go back and respond to it. So let me get what she said here. Hang on one sec. Okay, let me go to, I'm pretty sure she did it on the part 2 of the jail call. So let me just go right here to the comments. All the jail calls. October 4th. Maybe it was part 1. Let me go to part 1. Comments. It's not on that one. So I think it's on the next one here. You just gotta really, this is kind of crazy. Okay, so this is volume 1 and volume 2. So I think it must be part 2. Let's try this one. Comments. And no, she didn't remove it. Well, it's on one of these. Maybe it was on just a regular jail call, whatever it was. Let me see if I just go to community. And look for these. Hold on. Because I can do it by haven't replied to, sort by, and I haven't replied. Let's do. Let's see, it should come up here. Because it's really interesting. And I actually sent an email to Shirilla to see if she's getting any comments from this person, because what this person is saying, well, they want us to believe she's Faith, Mackenzie's friend, but what she's saying is that we are re-traumatizing her with her trauma. So she's saying that something she says in those calls and us playing the phone calls is re-traumatizing her and she wants us to believe that this is Faith. And I don't believe for 1 second this is Faith. I believe this is someone that wants us to stop bringing out this stuff about Mackenzie, especially what she says on these calls, and wants to silence us. I don't think that Faith, Faith MS friend, because I have seen her type Faith's name with a Y. But even if it was spelled this way, I don't think this is her. Hold on, you know what? How silly of me. If I just go in my email, as I get notified with every comment, let me just put her YouTube name here. Hold on, it should come up on the right video. Unless she freaking removed it, I don't know. But I don't think so. But that's basically what she said. You think that's Faith? Do you think it's her? Has anybody seen the comment? Has anybody seen that person commenting anywhere else? Very strange. So it might be back on one of the other calls because it might have been in the moderated, it was in the comments in the queue that I have to approve. But yeah, but that's just keep an eye on that profile. If you see it anywhere flying around, it's probably Natalie or somebody. What do you think? Let me go over here. Okay, let me see what you guys are saying. Let me see. So, yeah, the burn book. Yeah, we'll get to that. Her mom is sneaky, but she's not bright. No, wow, how weird. Definitely not her. I think it's her parents. Who says Faith, MS's friend? I know, right? Are you kidding? No, I'm not kidding you. That's how I got that. She left me a comment. Well, she left us all a comment, you guys. She left us all a comment because obviously it was in a thread under one of the phone calls, under one of the phone call videos. And I'll look for it tonight so I can show it to you, tell you where it is tomorrow. But she made a comment and she said, like, to all of us, like, oh, okay, guys, is this what you do? You know, you like to do this or like whatever it was. You're re-traumatizing my trauma or something. Something. True. Her parents would put MS friend. Yeah. It's interesting, right? Mm-hmm. It's very weird. And she joined, yeah, and she joined October 4th. Yeah. I mean, she joined with that profile. It's a brand new YouTube account, Amy. Right? I guess whatever she said, maybe about when she was breaking up with that boyfriend. I don't know which call it was. But yeah. Faith or not. Faith. So yeah, you know, I'm sorry. It tells you, when you get on that jail call, you hear it every single time. This is a recorded call, right? If you know that is a recorded call, that means that that call could be released. So should she be talking about anything she doesn't want anyone to hear on that? You know, I mean, it's not like it's a surprise, right? Come on. It's ridiculous. Yeah, exactly, Amy. And those jail calls are out on a lot of channels, you know? That's why I emailed Trilla. I said, have you seen this person? And are they coming around to you too and leaving these comments? You know? Anyway, we're just covering the facts. We're not like doing anything to her. Okay? We're covering the facts here is what we're doing. And these facts are important. Okay, let's get back to the facts. So, oh, look at that. Isn't that funny? The first thing it says, it is a straight fact. This is Kenzie. You are not an expert on narcissism because you read a effing book. It is not mean. I'm just telling you the truth. It makes me feel bad that you don't give me flowers, that you don't chase, you don't do anything romantic. Dom says, okay, and I'm telling you the truth that I just read some of this shite out of a book, and it's straight out of the book, and whoever wrote it is an expert on it. And Kenzie says, and I'm telling you That does not make you an expert. You have to go to school and take multiple years learning about it. You don't care. You literally do not care about this relationship at all. Why are you trying to argue with me about a effing book? See, you just apologized, she says, and now your apology means nothing. And Dom says, you have no idea how frustrated I am right now. If I didn't care, I would have blocked you. Not gonna lie. NGL, not gonna lie. Then he says, like, I can't get anything done. My eyes hurt, and you keep being mean to me. This girl is an energy vampire. She keeps him going. He can't do anything. It's a cycle where he's trying to think like, okay, wait a minute, if I just get this with her, maybe she'll be shut up. No, she won't. And the time is ticking away. His life is literally ticking away, right? These are the last weeks of his life. Last weeks of this guy's life, he had to have this torment. This is trauma. What she did to him is trauma. And he had to go through that. And she's an energy vampire, sucking the life out of him, sucking his creativity out of him, sucking everything out of him, making him go on this drama dance with her. And it's sickening. It's absolutely sickening. She is abusive in every way, shape, and form. She threatens physical abuse. She is emotionally abusive. She is psychologically abusive. She is horrible. Okay, she's horrible. Hi, Tia Marie. So he says, like, why would I take this if I didn't? She says, I am not being mean to you, effing. She says, care when all that has to happen is okay, I'll do this. Then we both just get to do our thing. She says, I already told you that I will be more compassionate. OMG. Why do I keep having to repeat myself? He says, you don't. I literally said I understood that so many times, and you keep arguing with me. She says, I'm not arguing with you. I'm trying to get you to fix the situation. He says, why do I have to fix it? And you don't. We both have to text, and it's both of us. She says, I did my part, and now you just have to do yours. He says, there is not one side fixes a situation. She says, read. He says, I did my part. I said, I will chase you, and you keep being mean. She says, I am not being mean. Like, why? I would answer now. He says, I have nothing to say to you. To that. She says, why do you keep saying I'm being mean when I'm not being mean? Like, you just keep making up reasons to keep fighting. He says, last couple of messages, you're not necessarily being mean, but were doing me before, and he kept texting me. I think he's tried doing talk to text, so I got to figure out what he's saying. Last couple of messages, you're not necessarily being mean, but were doing mean before and keep texting me in all caps aggressively, and I'm not trying to fight. The reason I was going to say anything back is because I don't want to bring up something because more of an argument. So that's happening right now. I wasn't, he said. He wasn't trying to bring up something because he knows if he brings something up, he can't talk to her. It's just more of a fight. And who wants to be, dealing with that all the time? She says, can we just go to Whole Foods or something? Or is that a no? He says, I don't want to wind up fighting again, but we can go. She says, okay, come and get me, question mark. He says, I'm showering and I don't have my phone. And he says, car. She says, how long are you going to be showering? Question mark. We can do a movie, right? Or something and cook dinner. Just let me know how long you're going to be. He says, I'm almost done. My phone is not letting me text. All wet. She says, let me know. He says, you can come. She says, bring the vitamin E oil when you come outside. He says, okay, brushing my teeth real quick. I'm here, she says. Can we drop money off to Tyler for doing my work, doing her schoolwork, right? And he says, cool, if Blair comes and smokes. I don't care, she says. And she's showing him stuff. Where are you? And it's April 28th, 2022. Next door, oopsie. Next door, he says. She says, why? Come over here. Want to make broccoli or asparagus? He says, okay, 1 second. Yes. She says, why didn't you even say you were going, babe? I need money for food. Stop by, he says. She says, I will. I'ma come back and hang till I leave. He says, when? Then he says, I gotta go grab my bread and link with my dude. She says, when? I'm leaving by 6:30. He says, in a second, I'm just making coffee. She said, I'm about to come, I think. I'm coming. I'm coming. You just effed up. I'm so serious when I say I'm not coming over tonight until you apologize or fix this because this is on you this time. He says, what? Nah, you were getting mad because I didn't think you needed over $20. She says, you just effed up is what I'm saying. And yes, you did. He says $25. Like, what is the problem with that? She says, then you had to throw in that you're putting away $500 a week. He said, I put $500 to the side to spend for the week. I have $100 left. He said, I did that Monday. She said, then stop buying stuff for me if you have such a problem with spending money. Like I said before, we have an effing problem. And stop texting me until you want to apologize. Actually, never mind. Don't even text me since I have to tell you how to apologize. And he says, what do you mean, stop spending money on you? You're the one who just got mad over $5, like, question mark, question mark. She said, you have such a problem with spending money, then stop spending money on me. Good, then stop asking him for money, biatch. He says, you're the only one causing a problem. She says, yeah, because you're effing disrespectful as F. He says, no, you were first. She says, like I said for the third time, now stop texting me until you want to fix this. He says, I'm not doing this. This is horrible. Horrible for this. This is crazy. These people are not married. There's no reason that they don't have children together. There's no reason that they're even going to try to fix this or they just need to get out of each other's lives, right? They just needed to get away. But bye, Felicia. See you later. This is so crazy. So this poor guy had to live in this constant torment. It's ridiculous. You're not going to demand money from me and then get mad. Like, WTF, you should apologize. She says, I asked you if you could pay for my town hall. I didn't demand money. He says, done. She says, if you're that worried about your pocket, then you shouldn't have gave me money. I can just start asking my mom for money. I guess, like, what the F is wrong with you? Wow, girl. Wow, girl. How about you start getting a job and get your own money? How about that? Second of all, he doesn't have to pay for everything for you. He's not even married to you now. You treat him like crap. What the heck? And can you imagine if he said no to her? She would still be arguing with him. It's ridiculous. He says, yeah, I gave you 25. Then you got mad and wanted more. Like WTF. She goes, yes, you're right. I told you what I was getting and it's going to cost more than 25. He goes, like, I gave you money and you got mad. I've never heard of that ever. She says, I don't know what's up with you lately, but you are honestly digging yourself in a hole. He goes, no, you are. So crazy. She says, what are you not getting about? I don't give an F. He says, don't give an F about what? She says, the situation until you want to fix it. Okay, peace, he says. She says, okay, blocked. I'm going to Barley. I'd say bring my 25 back, biatch. Okay? He said, we broken up then. And she says, I don't care. You can't even tell me I look good when I dress up, so why would I give an F? There's another example of your narcissism, Kenzie. You're always looking for attention, always looking for somebody to tell you good things about yourself all the time, constantly needing that. She says, you're honestly jog. You act like you're such a good boyfriend, but you can't even give compliments when I dress up. So she wants to be told wonderful things about herself. And she does nothing but tear him down. Okay? Does nothing but tear him down. She says, good job keeping up with your part of the deal and chasing. Who's going to chase you, Mackenzie? They're going to run from you. Anybody with a brain is going to run from you, not chase you, girl. So then he says, like you kept your end of the deal, you were mean as F about $5. She says, do you wonder why I don't have friends? Because you act effing weird for no reason when I hang out with them. Okay, now this piece of work is saying the reason she doesn't have friends is because Dom acts weird when they hang out. Yeah, no, I don't think so, honey. I think the reason you don't have friends is because the way you act. So she goes, oh, of course. Now here she is, condescending, mean. Of course. Your delusional arse only picks up that part. If I was a bad boyfriend, I would probably ignore that part about me being a bad boyfriend too. So look at all the degrading, look at all the name calling, look at how mean she is. But then when you talk to her, she's not mean. What did she say that's mean? What did she say that's narcissistic? Let's see. She says, there's nothing to give compassion about here. You are literally a terrible boyfriend, and I will see it until I'm treated with respect and love. Respect and love. Happiness and harmony. Okay. He says, I give you way more compliments than you ever give me. She says, no, you actually don't. I can't actually remember the last time you gave me a compliment. I complimented your haircut and your cooking just today. He said, believe what you want. You're just mad about $5 and you're trying to find reasons to turn it on me. She says, I'm not turning shite on you. You're the one who broke up with me. So honestly, I don't even care right now. Stop texting me. He says, I said I will. We'll see, I guess. She says, no, the real decider is you, buddy. I'm going to do whatever the F I want. I'm not going to be with somebody who doesn't give me compliments and acts like I'm sort of, I don't even know what the F to call it. Stop acting like you're rich if you're worried about your pocket. And then he says, you act like you're rich and you don't make any money at all. All I was doing is managing money, letting you know I'm not spending over $500 a week on necessities. That's still $26,000 a year. If I spend $1,000, that's $52,000 a year. That's probably over a medium income in America. 31K is average income. So that means me spending $500 a week on necessities is almost the average income for an American. She goes, I don't care. Notice how you're still ignoring the part where you don't compliment me and tell me I look good when I'm dressed up? He said, I do all the time. You're just pretending like I don't. She says, you're selfish as F for no reason, trying to ruin my good time that I have with one of my only friends. He says, I'm not, you are. She says, stop being a selfish little biatch and trying to ruin my time. He says, you're arguing with me. She says, all I said was, you need to apologize and fix the situation, and you simply couldn't do that. And you saying you can't do that is making the situation worse. And he says, I was literally just giving you money so you can leave. I even offered $50. See there, look at that. I'm literally giving you money so you can leave. Here, get out of here. Go. Okay? I offered you $50. Is that enough, biatch? Bye. Right? Okay. Crazy. Then she says, then when you gave me the money, you told me to get the F out. Yeah, okay. After you had a little baby fit about the $30. Go get your own effing money. Okay? Go get a job. No, you did. She says, I'm done. You can break up with me if you're going to keep being a little biatch. Clearly, it's on your mind. He says, okay. She says, I know you didn't just say okay. So she tells him to break up with her. He says, okay. And then she comes back, I know you didn't just say okay. No, he really did. What are you, blind? She says, you're such a bum. For real. Here's another degrading comment. You're such a bum. For real. Well, why didn't you have money? Because you don't do anything? You're more of a bum than anyone else. Okay. She goes, break up with me. Finish it off. Finish it off. Oh, here we go. Every day you prove that you don't care about this relationship more and more. He says, no, Kenzie, I don't care about this fighting. You got mad because I was trying to budget. 26K a year, LOL. Think of that. She goes, dude, I don't care. No, you do care. You do care because you want that money. Then stop buying me stuff. Yeah, when he stops buying you or tells you he's not going to give it to you, throw a little baby fit. He says, that's not even buying you stuff. She goes, I don't care. You must learn to. This is strictly on food. She says, clearly you're worried about money. He said, every single person who makes money budgets, and rich people budget. That's how they stay rich. She says, so you're not going to fix this? He said, there's nothing to fix. This was a little argument. And I think he means I'm not going to fix anything, bae. She says, I don't have to. I asked you. He says, are you going to fix anything? She says, Joe just came in here and was mean as F to Grace. Like he took her keys and hit her head and yelled, she's drunk, loud AF. Yeah. You want a boyfriend like that? She said, he said, he the pimp? She said, it was F. They not together. For real. He exactly like a pimp, Dom says. She says, it's sad. He says they both chose it. Then she says, so I can't go to Barley? Question mark, question mark. WTF. Bro, I would answer right now or we're going to have problems. WTF. Okay, I'm just going to go. Then since you're not answering for whatever reason, like WTF, I know you're not answering right. You're not answering right now. Like we will have problems. 5-minute timer starting now. I would answer right now if I was you. The F, I would answer now. If I'm not going to go, have fun with my friends. Thanks. Tonight better be so fun since I have to come hang with you instead of them. Question marks. You can go, he says. She says, you're going to hold this against me and be mean? And you already gave me anxiety, like WTF. He says, what do you mean, WTF? She says, you can 100% find her Addie. He says, I'm home. She says, I'm about to come. I found a lash glue. He says, that's good. It isn't going to F up your eyes, right? She says, super good for you. It was an excellent. He said, good, hopefully it works. She says, I'm coming back now. He says, core life was good. You should try getting what I get. She said, dude, this fat man almost just pissed me off so bad, are making me so mad today. She said, people keep trying to go when it's my turn. Like, bro, I will F you up. I am not in the effing. Also, that biatch blocked me. Christina? He says, what, stop signs? She said, yes. He said, WTF, bro. She says, I just want to DM her address. He said, people tripping. She said, I know, I'm so pissed. And then she puts some kind of the log on thing. She goes, want to make steaks? He says, yes. She says, can we go? I think it's in my little black bag from Florida. Where are you at? She says. He says, next door. We ordered Nico a wheelchair. That's their dog, right? She says, do you want to go to the store? He says, when? She says, like right now. And then she says, also, I need your charger, but I have no clue where it is. He says, it's in my bathroom, the one in my room. Oh, she says. And what store do you want to go to? He says, we just went to Whole Foods. She says, like Target or some things. I need to find a steel lunchbox. Then she says, I'm aware that see, this is how nasty she is. Listen, I'm aware that we just went to Whole Foods. I need to find a lunchbox. I'm not asking for food. Question marks. I guess I'll just go by myself then. So are you coming? Are you not coming? Okay, I'm leaving. WTF. And then he says, one SWC. He says, we were helping Nico. He can't walk. She goes, bro. He said, he's in pain. She goes, I'm aware. He goes, why are you mad? Okay, I'ma just go. Like, she has no compassion. No, she doesn't. Because you left without telling me, and then you just ignored me for like 5 minutes. 5 freaking minutes. He says, okay, just go then. Like I told you, I was going next door. My mom wanted me over here, and I didn't text back for 5 minutes because literally Me, Angelo, and my mom were all holding him up because his one leg was effed. She says, like I gave you multiple chances to come and you ignored me. He said, I ignored you because Nico is in pain and we were still helping him. She said, your mom and Angelo are there right now. He says, I wasn't by my mom. Us three were helping him. Why are you mad? Like it's Nico. She says, because I want you to come with me. You effing ignoring me. He says, if you were over here, you'd feel bad as F for him right now. He's pissing on himself. He's in pain. He can't walk. Like I'm allowed to not text back for 5 minutes to help my dog. She says, so you're not coming? He said, this is the type of shite I'm talking about. Like at least have compassion for Nico. He's a helpless animal. Yeah, I would be coming over right now. But now, I don't know if we're going to fight. She says, we're not going to fight. The only reason I'm mad right now is because you left without telling me. Coming over right now, we'll solve the problem and I wouldn't be mad. Why do you think that way? I have compassion for Nico. I'm saying he doesn't need 3 people to be helping him right now. I don't need to be kissing arse to feel bad. So are you coming or not? Because I'm about to leave right now. And did anyone feed Jim or something? Like he's literally meowing, freaking out over here. Like he needs food. Someone needs to feed him. Dom says, I did tell you. I told you I was going over there for my mom. I'll be over in a second. She says, I feel like I'm the only one who feeds him. He says, Jim always does that. She says, that's why I gave him a ton of treats. He says, he eats more than Nico. She says, no, I don't think he does. My car is running, so are you coming? He says, I have to take a shite. She says, bro, dude, I'm seriously about to just go. Like my car is running. I do not have time for this shite. How long? He says, I don't know, 10 minutes? Bro! He says, Kenzie, just go. If you don't want to wait for me. She says, I mean, are you already on the toilet? Like I'm literally trying to go right now, and I already waited like 30 minutes for you. He says, you could have went. Nothing I can do. I have a handicapped dog. I didn't think I'd be over that long. I was trying to take a shite before I even went over there. She says, your mom and Angelo were over there. I don't know what you're not getting. He says, you weren't there. All 3 of us were holding him, trying to help him move and get comfortable. Like, what is your problem with me helping my dog? Why do you have a problem with that? She says, I don't have a problem with that. I have a problem with you not telling me that you're going over there and taking 30 minutes and ignoring my text. He said, I told you I was going over there. No, you didn't. She said, you just left. He said, and no, I only didn't text back because I was holding Nico up. She says, and now I have to deal with the gym. I don't see anyone worried about Jim being sad, fed. He says, you don't remember me telling you my mom wants me over and me saying she probably is just lonely and sad about the dog. You really don't remember that? And then he says, Jim is a nuisance and he's fine. Nico has a broken leg, we think. She says, no, he's not. Jim is cute as F. He just needs love and food, and everybody hates him, and nobody gives him some attention. He says, okay, and Nico is crying and whining and can't move. What's your point? Think about it. A dog as big as Nico is crying. She goes, bro, just hurry so I can go. He says, like, why are we arguing over this? I'm done. She says, I need to plan for this. He says, you're the one texting me. Like, let me wipe my arse. Just go. No, just go, he says. You're mean about my dog when you don't even need me to come. She says, I know you didn't just tell me to go after I could have went 20 minutes ago. I know you just didn't say that. He said, I told you, if you don't want to wait to go. And I said, if we're going to argue, I'm not going. You don't want to wait, and you want to argue over my dog. She said, so slow, he said, with a broken leg, like, what the F? She says, you can't realize what I'm mad about, and now I'm waiting on you, on you, so you're coming now. She says, you're mad I didn't answer when I was helping my dog with a broken leg. Sorry, I'll just let him fall in pain next time. She says, wow, you're totally getting the point. Good job, Dom. He says, why do you do this? Like, why? Why can't you do anything for anyone else? I do anything. She says, did I say that? He goes like, I can't help a helpless animal without you getting mad. I didn't pay attention to you for 5 minutes. She says it was more than 30 minutes. And once again, I didn't say that. Don't put words in my mouth. He says, no, it wasn't, Kenzie. I was texting you. And when I was done helping Nico, you got mad. She says, how long? Question marks. He says, I am wiping my arse. Give me a minute. She says, okay, cool. He says, this is a foreign J1. They only have his hard shite mott, his singing shite. This is it, she says, question mark. Is it his actual beat? He said, no, a type of beat on YouTube. I could only find like 2 beats. I found another, this different too. She says, I like it. And she puts pictures of herself because she needs attention. Cute, he says. Wait. Then he says, are you trans? Then she says, Adam. He says, you're Adam? She says, it's National Lovers Day. He said, I've never even heard of that one. For real? She says, same, LOL. But it is today. He says, I guess it's the 23rd. She says, oh, I seen it today. He said, from who? She says, Jacob, about to come home. He said, I'll be home soon, was running plays. She says, okay, I'm 30 away. I'm going home now, but I will be back. He says, good luck, babe. Love you. She says, love you no more, but I was tweaking out on time. I wish I got to hug you more. He says, you're okay, babe. I'll see you later. She says, I will be home at like 5 or 6. She goes, what if I went to Beechwood Mall after though? Never mind, I'll just come to you. He said, I was going to say that. When do they close? I can meet you. I need to get Angelo a birthday present. True, she said, check. He said, Saks closes at 6 today. Dang. She says, I could probably make it there really quick if you try to get through it before. Probably make it there really quick if you try to get through it before. He says, how far is it from your place? Yeah, maybe I could get there around 4, look through Saks real quick, then go to other stores if we need to. And then she puts the address of the mall. He says 7 minutes. Bet you're by good part of Beechwood. Just get Beechwood at 5:30. That's good. The rich part, he says, she says, LOL. He says, I'm going to be at Beechwood by 5 for real. She says, okay, well, do you want to meet up with or no? He says, yes. She says, okay, bet. And she's texting him stuff. She says, I'm nervous. There's hella kids though, LMAO, like under 10. I feel out of place, she says. He says, hella kids, but under 10? Liked an image? Yes, she says, little kids. He says, are you the oldest? She says, I feel like it, LMAO. She says, I think I could be, to be honest. The kids are so cute though. She said, for real, they're cute AF. He says, weird. So many little kids though. He says, I hope the class isn't a joke. She says, bro, I'm about to get mad. People keep coming in late and effing shite up. Like, biatch, the class started at 9. Be here on time. The F. So annoying, she says. He says, what the F? And it's all just 10-year-olds? She says, LMAO, yes, I made a friend. He said, that's good. Who? She says, I don't know her name yet, but I'm sitting with her. She's pretty AF. We both wearing fluffy coats. That's good, he says. How old is she? She says, creative outfit. He says, what? He says, I'm on the way to Beechwood. She says, bet. He says, yeet. She says, want to go to Luca today? Okay, now they're mentioning Luca. They haven't mentioned Luca in ages. I want it. He says, you want to just save it for another day? I don't know. I want to go, but I guess it would be good today. I mean, we're going to have to wait like 3 days to go. Why 3 days? He says, because tomorrow's Angelo's birthday, she says, so we can't tomorrow. He says, yeah, I just didn't want to drive out this way. Been driving hella. I'll drive, she says. I don't care. He says, we could just go day after Angelo's. She says, bro, then what are we eating tonight? Because I'm hungry and I want Luca, question mark. He says, I don't know. I know we have asparagus and broccoli. We can make something with that. She goes, bro. He says, what? She goes, I want Luca. We eat that like every day. He says, okay, but then we got to go to Luca West. The Cleveland one doesn't have beef carpaccio. How far are you? I just got to Saks. She says, I'm about to be out soon. She says, I want to go to Westlake one. He says, yeah, I know. I want to go to that one too. He says, how do you think till you're here? Should I go inside? She said, just go inside. I'll meet up with you. He said, send me She said, send me snaps of cute stuff. He says, well, I don't know, because I don't like you being over here alone. He says, it is before 5:30. You think I'll wait? She says, it's okay. I'll be fine. She says, I'll just meet up with you. I'll be here by 5:37. He says, okay, I'm going in. I'm a fine Nancy. Then she says, I need Luca. He said, we can go. Yay. He said, I'm in Collab right now. Here, she says, I don't know where that is. He said, right outside of Saks. He said, just let me know. Send you upstairs at Saks. I'm about to be upstairs, she says. I'm up. Are you in Collab? Then she says, your baby girl is on the way. Where are you? Question mark. Okay. Come on, home soon. Now it's May 4th of 2022. He said, sorry for arguing, Kenzie. I was just mad because you weren't understanding me. She says, it's okay. Just don't be mad to me. I don't like that, and it makes me sad. For real. FaceTime, I'm sorry. He said, that's cool. She says, bro, he says, it's interesting too. They came back pretty hard. She says, I know, it's dope AF. He says, what? She says, what are you doing? He said, burying Jim. Uh-oh, what happened to Jim? She says, I wish I was there. He says, it's okay. She says, are you okay? He says, yeah. Babe, she says, babe, where? He says, what, babe? She says, where are you? He said, play, be back soon. Why? He said, I told you, go to Kiev. She says, Nug, can you shut this we die window? What the freak, dry arse N-word, I'm mad at you. Dry as F, dry AF, dry AF, dry AF, dry AF, dry AF, dry AF. 5-minute timer starting, and I would watch your mouth around the groupie if you want this relationship to last year, going to start treating me with love and respect. He says, I do. You agreed a while ago to not get mad when I was doing something. The shite wasn't in my pocket, and I was scrubbing the floor. I wouldn't get mad at you. You're the one not respecting me. She said, how was I supposed to know you were doing something with all the kids here? Is the basketballs getting thrown in Blair talking loud as F? He says, coming out disrespecting me when I had my hands full cleaning. She said, do better. He said, I told him, stop shooting. You can do better, he said. She said, couple rave, want to go? He says, what do you mean? She says, like a rave, want to go to one? He says, what's it called and when and where? She says, not sure, let me ask. She says they have them every weekend. He says, okay, word, let me know, cause it could be super shitey and weird. And she said, he says, only some be super dope, like Lost Lands. She says, what's that? She said, I want to go. We should rave this summer. I have cute rave outfits. Like what? He says, what do you mean? She says, I'm coming back. He says, I'm at the gym. It's locked. She says, estimate 40th, okay, abandoned building. Bro, when will you be home? He says, it's not going to be good. She said, what? He said, that's lowest budget possible, the rave. She says, oh, so it's going to be like some weird arse party? I said, I need a key to your house. She said she would get one made, and you did, and you never did also. I really need a key so I can just come. Babe, please, I'm so hungry. On the way home. Come through, he says. Okay, coming, Nug. Then he says, I left. It's open though. She said, why did you leave? Where are you going? Question mark, bro. Why do you take so long, bro? Of course they bring loud as F. Who's loud as F? We done, she says. Every day you prove to me that you don't give a single F about this relationship. I don't give an F what you have to say. It's already too late. So Jordy gone through the breakup, then get over it. Go make your gay arse edibles. He says, I wasn't trying to be disrespectful when I said we don't have a compost. I just didn't know why we were doing it if we don't have one. And then I said, fine, we can. Then you were mean to me saying I didn't support you. So think whatever you want. And yeah, whatever this happens, it barely hurts anymore because this has been happening 3 times a month at least. She says, to be honest, I don't give a single F what you have to say. Anything that comes out of your mouth is a lie. You only say you're going to change so you can keep me trapped in this toxic arse relationship. He says, how is that a lie? She says, you don't treat me good at all. I do so much for you and you don't even appreciate me. Random people on this internet shouldn't make me feel better than you do. He says, what? I do so much for you and you don't help me with anything. If anything, I feel unappreciated and used. She says, you don't chase, you don't try, and you don't care. I'm done. He says, you don't chase or try either. She says, you lie about everything you effing say. And when I try to tell you how I feel, you just try to bring up something else like I don't give a single F how you feel right now. He says, you're the one who left. She says, I do both of those things. I left because I'm finally standing up for myself. I'm not going to let you just being mean to me and have me sit on your effing couch. That was a narcissistic response. Wow, that's crazy. Maybe you were the narcissist. He says, yeah, and I'm standing up for myself too. That's why I didn't apologize if you wouldn't. She says, this conversation is just telling me all I need to know because you can't even speak your truth. You're just a D. And he says, all you had to do was apologize to. She says, okay, I'm not apologizing for waiting to make a compost bin. Thanks, though. He says, no, I never said that. I'm said for being disrespectful after. She says, when you want to try, maybe we can start over, but I'm done. Now, go worry about your edibles. That was so important. He says, well, what made me mad is when you said, I'll go home where they support me. That hurt my feelings. That's when I got mad. Think whatever you want. Break up with me over a petty argument, I guess. When I said, I'll say sorry if you do. And you're the one who chose to leave and not say sorry. She says, I don't care. This isn't a petty argument. This happens every day. You're a terrible boyfriend. You have no compassion and you only care about what you think. At least I try to hear you out, but I don't even care anymore. I know I shouldn't have gotten back together with you after the Emily situation. Should have known it was just an act. He says, Kenzie, you're the one who said something about me first. All that happened is I was saying, why are we starting a compost bin if we don't have a garden, seeds or anything? And you said, I'll do it at home where they support me. He says, I didn't try to throw shade at you at all, and you said that. Whatever, Kenzie. Believe what you want. If I didn't care, I wouldn't work all day to buy you Lucas. I set my dreams aside, so focused on money so we can keep up our lifestyle. She says, all you care about is your effing money. I don't give an F about it. I want real love. I don't care. This whole conversation is a joke. Stop texting yourself. Stop telling yourself that you care. You know deep down what you really want. You couldn't even chase when I gave you a second chance. It's honestly so embarrassing. I know people that would be chasing me for days. The police? Yeah. It's sad that my boyfriend of 3 years can't even do that. She says, like I said, I am all done here. Every day you prove to me that you are not good and all you care about is yourself. He says, Kenzie, I said I wouldn't chase if you run. You couldn't apologize either. She says, I'm going to go start my compost now. Thank you so much for wasting my time and ruining my morning. Then he says, if you apologize, we wouldn't do this. And you didn't say, I'll go home where they support. I would just gave you the money and we'd have the compost here. He says, but you were talking smart. I said I'd apologize if you did. You said, sorry, why should I? Then you said none of this would have happened if you just agreed to say, he's saying none of this would have happened if you just agreed to say you're sorry too. Then he said 2 wrongs don't make a right, 1 wrong, 1 right doesn't make a right, but 2 rights make a right. Us both apologizing. She says, you stuck on that apology, huh? Stop effing texting me. He said, you're overreacting, Kenzie. Well, we both are. He said, but whatever. She said, that's exactly what I thought. Part 2 of you not being able to chase, which is why I'm done. You treat women like effing shite. You do not know how a relationship works clearly. Says, I said, if you run, I'm not going to chase. She says, when you decide your faith, you can text me and maybe we could try this again, but I'm done. He says, I wasn't even trying to talk when you were dipping. He says, you're going to chase no matter what, or this, she said, you're going to chase no matter what, or this is not a relationship. She says, you're clearly were not, because I was saying to watch, you did not come to the car. So no, that's not really chasing, but nice try. If I run, I'm on an airplane. If I skydive, you're going to chase, or we're not together. I'm never going to be with a lazy man who thinks he's the shite when he's really just a piece of shite, treats women terrible. You should still be consistently trying to prove to me that you're not a terrible person after you cheated on me 4 times. You don't try to make me feel better about any of it. He says, I'm lazy, again throwing shade. She says, or is it that you, oh, is that all you're getting? I'm done. You're a terrible partner. He says, and I'm not. We spend every day together and I do everything I can for you. You haven't been good to me either. She says, then why do you only point it out when I have a problem? Stop trying to manipulate me. We are done. He says, okay, Kenzie, break up over a petty argument when you were the one who was throwing shade at me, and I just got mad about it. Just remember what you said, and remember how I said I'd apologize if you did, but you couldn't. You had to throw shade and run away. They then say, I'm not chasing. The whole problem came from you making a smart comment. Kenzie says I left because you were being a D, which is honestly an everyday thing for you. He says, then you were saying I had to apologize when you should too. She says, here's you going about shite that doesn't matter. Still, not the point anymore. The point is you're a terrible boyfriend and I'm done. You only care about what you want to care about and you act all fake. You're probably the fakest person I've met in my whole life. Stop acting like you care when you can't even prove to me that you do. This relationship is a joke and so are you. Okay, let's see. We're on May 7th. So let's see. I've got to take a little break here now. What do you say here? You say, how sad, Shanta says, how sad that he had to die to finally be free of her. Ugh. Serenity said, oh, chasing with the police. Alicia said, thanks, just Pepper. These messages make it like he's alive and we know him. Yeah. Yeah, that's what happens, right? Alicia sending you hugs. Alicia said, this is something wrong with her. I'm in tears right now, knowing that he is now gone. And because of this little twit, I think you're saying. Abuelita says, beautiful, Carolyn, with the commentary. The police. Let's see, thanks, Abuelita. Yeah, true, Alicia. Seeing this evidence allowed us to get a glimpse into the life he lived and the person he is. So horrible, the boys are gone. Yeah, and like I said to you guys, if you ever want to see a prosecutor who makes a jury know and feel 5 children, 5 who were killed by Tim Jones, if you follow that trial in South Carolina in 2019, Tim Jones was an engineer, and he was an IT engineer. I believe it was for IBM. He was married to Amber Jones, who actually came to this channel and told her story here, but he killed all 5 of their children. And he drove around in a van with those children for days before he was I think, did he turn himself in eventually? He went to that store. We have a video of it. He ordered fries. He stunk. The woman said of decomposition. He was smoking that spice. Remember that? Well, that trial, that prosecutor, his name escapes me right now, but his face I clearly see. And I have never seen a prosecutor work so hard, and he is such a storyteller, but he told you the story of those kids. He brought in their teachers. He brought that little boy's Woody that he had, that Woody from Toy Story, and that Woody just started to talk while they were on the stand. It was like he was sending a sign. But when that trial went to the jury, as well as anyone watching that, knew those children, you were crying. His closing argument was unbelievable. And they brought back a guilty. I followed that with you. Yeah. They brought back a guilty. He got the death penalty. And oh my gosh, I don't think anybody wasn't crying when they were watching his closing statement on that. You knew every one of those kids. You knew every one of their dreams. You knew every one of their favorite toys, yeah, it's, do you have a playlist on that case? On which case, honey? On Mackenzie, I have a playlist on, you talk about Tim Jones? It should be a playlist on Tim Jones. I have tons of videos. I covered the entire trial, and Amber Jones, the mother, came on our channel and spoke to us and everything in multiple times. Using spice, yeah. Yeah, he was an amazing prosecutor. I remember him. He's terrible, the worst. Yeah, you remember that, Darla? Yeah. Ugh. And then he tried to get out of the death penalty, saying he had schizophrenia and all that. Yeah. What a whack. It's the one that said he would feed to the pigs. Yeah. Yeah. Tim Jones, look it up, South Carolina, uncrimey. Yeah. I have to check, but didn't he get pulled over? Yeah, he did. I think it was under a bridge, and he reeked. But I have the surveillance when he went through that convenience store and he ordered, I think, curly fries or something. And the girl got them and he reeked so bad. I don't remember. Someone had a really bad cough. Yes, I think I do remember that. But that was prior to COVID too, Alicia. But But I think, yeah, someone was coughing the whole time. Tim Jones, Tim Jones, Timothy Jones. I remember his father came and showed that whole back tattoo that he got. There were so many characters in there, like that were in the background. It's just terrible. I don't remember, so we. Yeah. Okay, let's go read. I have to take a break every so often and talk for a second. Okay. So Dom says, you know what, Kenzie, I'm sorry I got mad, but you hurt my feelings saying I don't support you. I was hoping for an apology, and I should have acted different instead of just getting mad, but it was hard not to. You can break up with me if you want. I hope you find happiness with someone else. LOL, she says. The real question is, why couldn't you just say that to me when I was about to leave? He said, for whatever it's worth, I'm sorry. I felt I needed an apology too. I hope you can be happy without me. She says, why do you always wait when it's way too late? You're pathetic. It's all part of your little game. He says, no, I wanted an apology too. I was mad about what you said. I'm just telling you how I feel. She said, be mad. But that's when you know it's straight facts. You are very unsupportive. You don't care about my modeling. And now you don't care about my garden. He says, I hope the next one can treat you better, babe. I'm sorry we are not working out. She says, stop calling me that. When are you going to learn? You clearly do not learn. You are a master manipulator. Only if your brain just told you to say this as I was leaving, that would have been a great job of chasing. But clearly, there's something blocking you from being a good person. You literally effing suck and just waste all my good energy and love. Once again, you are a terrible boyfriend. I don't think you treat Blair like this, or do you? He said, well, I deserve an apology too. If you want to be around me, but if you're breaking up with me, I might as well say sorry for what happened. She said, you do not deserve an apology and you will never get one. So you're only apologizing because I threatened to break up with you? I know those words did not just come out of your sorry little mouth. You are actually the most pathetic person I have met in my whole life. He says, no, I was sorry the whole time, but wanted you to say sorry too. She says, no, you clearly were not sorry the whole time. Otherwise, you would have just apologized. He said, obviously, I feel bad about arguing. She says, now you're going to have to do way more than that. And I'm not telling you what the F to do. He said, but I only was because I was hurt about what you said. She said, you are pathetic. You're a joke. And we are done until you can fix this. I don't owe you anything. You're lucky I stayed with you after you cheated on me for the 5th time. He says, you don't have to say mean things. Believe whatever you want, Kenzie. I wouldn't have been with you this long if I didn't care. I wouldn't do any of the things I do if I didn't care. She said, well, clearly that's the only thing that gets your little ears listening. If this is what you're trying, if this is you trying, then this is actually a joke. He says, you can think whatever you want of me. She says, and I well think you're a joke until you prove otherwise. He says, if you think I'm some terrible person, then don't be with me. I hope you can be with someone that makes you happy because I don't want to be looked at as a terrible person. How would we have a relationship? She said, are you effing R word? You're dumb as F. About you effing take a second to effing read. All you prove otherwise, like in your effing slow arse read that. He says, okay, I'm not responding. Go call someone else names. Bye. She says, maybe you should effing learn how to treat women. Clearly, your view on a relationship is not right, which makes sense on how your life has been. But since I'm not that girl and you're going to treat me like a effing god, she says, clearly you can't prove yourself to treat me right. Things that are important to me should also be important to you, but I forget that has always been a problem for you. You are terrible at treating women with love and respect, especially your girlfriend of 3 years. It's a perfect day for gardening today, and the sun is out and it is warm and it is not raining, but of course, you have to find a problem with that. Like I said 1,000,000 times, you're pathetic and you don't chase, which was a part of our agreement. He says, no, you are at calling me hella names. And I said, you can get the soil. She says, you don't like to hear what other people have to say. You only care about what you think. I doubt you're even reading everything I say because my words don't matter to you. You only care about yourself and your stupid weed. He says, I'm done with it. You're verbally abusive. She says, I'm actually not, but thank you for that nice statement. Thank you for proving my point that you don't read a word I say. I'm going to give you till 3:30. And if this is not fixed or I'm not giving effort, then we are done. He says, you have just been calling me names this whole time. I'm good. She says, I'm going to petites to get soil, then I'm gonna come right back here and start setting it up. And by then you should have gotten your mind straight. Okay, then break up with me right now. He says, you already broke up with me. She says, I would keep trying, but I can't keep trying if I'm getting called names. He says, I'm not just gonna take that. She says, no, you have not tried any of this conversation. Stop using the word keep. And actually, you're going to, because that's the only way you decide to listen to what I have to say. You don't listen to a word that comes out of my mouth, she says. You just like to pick and choose. And Dom says, I'm done texting. It's hurting my eyes. And if you want to talk, call me or talk to me in person. She said, your 30-minute timer has started. If you want this relationship to work, you have till 3:30. He says, no, Kenzie, you have to make it work. You're choosing to break up with me. You chose to leave and you chose to not apologize when I said I would apologize. You chose all of this. And she says, you're right, I did choose this, and now you're going to choose the fate of our relationship. He said, so if you want it to work, you can come and make it work. Because I even said I was sorry after you said hella mean things to me. Calling me dumb as F and pathetic is not going to help this relationship anymore. She says, you said I'm sorry, then said, go make it work with someone else if I can't make you happy. That's not an apology. That's pathetic. If you're on your period, you can let me know. He says, how is that not an apology? I said I was sorry. And then I said, I was saying, if it's not working with me, I hope it works out with someone else. I'm just trying to say, I hope everything works out for you and you're happy, whether we're together or not. How is that pathetic? You want me to say, I only hope you're happy if we're together or something? I'm confused. And then he says, and for real, my eyes hurt. Don't text like for real. This is my last message. You want to talk, call me. She says 10 minutes and there's an effing gun in my trunk. Thanks for not letting me know. He says, I just want you to know that I am sorry that whether I say it or not, I don't want to fight with you. Sometimes I get mad. It's reasonable to get mad. Sometimes you just can't control it. But I felt you should apologize too. That's why I didn't say it. I wasn't trying to be unsupportive. I just didn't know what, why we're doing it at first. If we didn't have a garden, I don't know where to put it or anything, and I don't want animals close to the house in the yard, especially raccoons because of the cats. I wasn't trying to make you mad with all that at all. But when you said, I'll just go home and do that, where they actually support me, it hurt my feelings. And Kenzie, it's not that I don't care about us. When I say I don't care if we break up, I mean it as I don't care if we break up, if it's what's better. I want both of us to be happy, whether we're together or not. It's only fair to us if we are not together, if we're not going to work out, then we should break up. That's only the right thing to do. And he said, you're not going to get in trouble for it. You can legally have guns. She says, that's actually not the point, is that my mom opened the trunk to put soil in, and there's a large gun without the case in my trunk. And you know, if I got pulled over and my car always smells like weed, they would have searched me and definitely would have taken the gun. It doesn't matter if it's legal or not. The cops don't give an F. He says they can't search your car for weed, and if they do search your car, they can't search the trunk if locked. She says, I wish you could have just told me how you felt originally right in the beginning, because then this would have never been a fight. If you would have just told me that, I would have been like, okay, and then I would have went and got the soil, but instead you had to cause an argument. So he says the gun is locked up. How it's legally supposed to be, you'll be okay. She says, my trunk does not effing lock. And you know that. And I don't like when guns are in my car without me knowing. He said, I thought you knew about the gun or put it in your house. You were with me when we grabbed it. He says, Kenzie, I told you while you were here, I was never mad about the soil, only you being disrespectful. And then I just said, if you apologize for what you said, I'll apologize too. I have no problem apologizing, even ever, even if I don't think I have to. As long as I deserve an apology, I get one. And then I know my feelings are acknowledged. Okay, are you home? She says, because I'm gonna come back and start gardening, question mark. He says, what are you going to do? She says, what do you mean? He says, like, what's your plan? Where are you putting it? She says, well, the plant's on the deck and the compost far. He says, yeah, as long as nothing's in my grass or close to my house. She says, there is also a joint in the bottom of my floor, right in my open in my car. He says, yeah, that gun in my trunk was loaded. She said, yeah, that gun in my trunk was loaded. I could have literally shot somebody or myself. You effed up, by the way. I'm not going to embarrass you in front of Blair, but we will be having a convo when he leaves. He says, bro, I didn't F up. Lexi asked me where I was, and I told her where I was. The other girl I only talked to once because she wanted Bud and must have put me in the story. She says, I just said you did. So you did. And that chocolate shite was not funny at all. Don't F with my food. He says, how did I F up? She says, I'm going to text her right now, so let me know if you did anything weird with her before I embarrass myself. He said, no, Kenzie, you can literally ask her. The only we've spoke about is Bud, but she probably just put me on her story. She said, girls don't just put you in their private. They are trying to get you to swipe up. I'm not slow. He said, her doing this has nothing to do with me. She says, you not leaving is sus. He says, I ain't even know I was in it. Like, leave it then. I don't care. Like, I sleep next to you. I'm not trying to hide anything on my phone. We literally been together. We literally live together. That's so dumb. She said, I already did. There's a lot of weirdo shit on your phone. Like I said, I'm not going to embarrass you while he's here. He says, what else would be on my phone? Like literally nothing. You know, I don't do anything. She says, is Blair counted? Connected? Tell him to turn it off. Bro, I'm home, he says. Bro. Then she says, this biatch I got her was $43. Dang, what was it? I'll show you, she says. Are you on the way? He says, I'm taking a shite. Hurry, she says. I'm wearing a juicy tracksuit. He says, is it cold out? She says, low key. Where are you at? Bro, I'm not sitting there, she says. Nasty as F couch. He says, sit on my lap. She said, I would rather be outside. I want to go back to your house. No, he says. Okay, fine. We'll go outside then. She says, bro, I do not want to be over here. She said how bored she is. Bro, I'm for real just going to leave. Okay, then leave, Kenzie. I'm going to hang with my mom on Mother's Day. Like, I'm bored too. She says, okay, so let's go to your house. We're not even hanging with your mom. I'm not going to watch gas or sports either, gay, she said. He said, you, cause you wanted to come out here. You went out here first, she says. I think I'm just going to stand and watch TV. This is not hanging out with your mom. It's watching TV. Like we can do something fun, but that's not fun. I'm for real getting mad. Why is it so hard for you to chase for her? She says, why is it so hard for you to chase? Like it's sad AF. He says, okay, Kenzie, go home then and do fun stuff with your mom. She says, if I leave, we will have problems. Tell me to leave again. See what happens. I'm for real. He says, nah, you causing a problem for no reason. You have not, if you're not having fun, you can leave. I'm going to go hang with my family and my mom on Mother's Day because that's the right thing to do. I don't complain to you about being with your family stuff too long and being bored. And she says, you weren't bored. You were at the zoo. I'm not causing problems. I'm telling you, I am bored. Why are you communicating? He says, I'm aware you're bored. I'm bored too. He says, you're not obligated to be here. You can leave. Reed, she says, I'm staying here for my mom. He says, is that you telling me to leave? She says, he says, all I see is what happens if you tell me to leave again. And then he says, no, I'm saying you don't have to stay here. She says, that would be so dumb. Is that you're not chasing as well? Not sure why it's hard for you to chase. Okay, let me see here. He says, nah, I'm not doing this. She says, nah, you are. That's not chasing. She says, act like you don't have me. You can't do that. You're a terrible boyfriend. He says, Kenzie, it's Mother's Day. I'm going to hang with my mom. Like, stop being mad. She says, you're slow as hell. Read, N-word. I'm not mad. I'm communicating then. I'm bored and want to go to your house. She says, not sure why you can't comprehend. He says, go to my house and I'll come later. Then she says, nah, we have problems now. You effed up. Okay, I gotta take a little break here. Let me see. We're on 29,720. What is it? I don't even 21. That's a lot. I don't know how many pages we've read. Almost. What was it? We were on 28 something, 620, probably 1,000 pages. Let's see. Good, please spend Mother's Day with your mom. Alicia Nelson says, wow, so that's craziness. He's trying to enjoy being with his mom on Mother's Day. And this little demon won't let him. He's so vile. Mm-hmm. Yep. Crazy. Yeah, that would be the last Mother's Day, and she's always fighting. Abuelita says Mrs. Russo's last Mother's Day with him, right? Yep. Chrissy Fox. Hi, Chrissy Fox. Wow, she is terrible, right? It's always something about the dog. What about the dog? Okay, and what does anybody know what happened to Jim the cat? She doesn't like mom. Well, I think she doesn't like her, Val. That for real, look at me now, for real. Started to really happen afterwards and at the trial. She didn't like the way anybody told the truth about her. You know? And couldn't believe that when Dom's mom, remember, we're going to go over, because I am going to read the text between her and Dom's mom again in its own video, so you'll hear it again, but you'll hear how she says to Dom's mom, you know, how could you think I did this on purpose? Like, she's so offended by that, you know, just nuts. I wonder what happened to Jim. Does anybody know what happened to Jim? Does anybody know what happened to Jim? His mom had a sense. He was D, along with Dom loved his mother, and Kenzie couldn't stand that. Well, she's stupid, because if a boy doesn't love his mother, if a man doesn't love his mother, if a man doesn't have respect for his mother, he's never going to have respect for her. Never. If a man treats his mother like crap, he's never going to treat a woman good. Yes, I watched the death notification. Yes, I did. Terrible. Leslie, hi. Is that Leslie? Yeah. And this is why the prosecutor says she did this on purpose. She's an evil, mean person. Hell on wheels. Yeah. Know that Kenzie was mental, by the way. Had to know that Kenzie was mental, by the way. She put him through it. Christine would call out Kenzie when she would like stuff. Kenzie hated that. That's what got me into the case. The notice, I know, Darla, it was horrendous, right? Wow, she's horrible human. Dom was right. She's a narcissist. His mom had to know. Well, I don't know. I mean, his mother was going through a heck of a lot of stuff too. She was very, very sick with whatever she had, diverticulitis or whatever it was. And we can't blame his mother, you know. Um, no, if she would know anything like this, she would lay down her life to save her son. Why didn't she want to hang out with her bestie Natalie on Mother's Day? I know, right? Why not? Probably overfed him with those treats. I don't know what happened to Jim. Hmm, strange. Tom had his own place. Yeah, Val. He had his own place. So, we're on May 8th, 2022, Mother's Day. They're fighting like cats and dogs again. They're fighting all the time. They're literally fighting every day. And it's getting really old, right? It's getting freaking really old. How can her mom defend these actions? It's in their blood. They've got their head in the sand, Alicia. They don't want to accept things, yeah. So she probably don't really know Dom was dealing with crazy. No, she probably didn't see a lot of it. He probably hid a lot of it from her. He didn't want to burden her. She was sick. She wasn't doing well. I don't want to shame the cops who were also in job at the cop in the hospital, but Jacob was embarrassing. The cops that went to Mrs. Russo. Oh, I think those cops, Darla, were horrendous that went to Mrs. Russo. One of them, do you know, was a chaplain, was a priest. He never once did we see him grab her, say a prayer, anything. We didn't see him do that. That poor woman, do you remember what she did at the very end? She hugged them. She hugged them. She told them, wait, wait. And she hugged them. That was so heartbreaking to see how what they did there, that was ridiculous. It was absolutely ridiculous from the way they told her to the way they didn't even make sure she had someone, to the way they told Frank over the phone, to the way they told Topher, okay, a kid that's like on the spectrum. They didn't know how he was going to take that. The mother is flailing around in the floor and they just start calling, Christopher, Christopher, come here. And they just tell him his brother's dead. They didn't know the relationship he had with Dom. What if he was so close to Dom? What if he couldn't even process that? Like what they did was crazy, absolutely crazy. And what's worse, because that other cop kept saying, that's not Dominic Russo. I know Dominic Russo. That wasn't him in the car. Send the cops to Dominic Russo's house and see if Dominic Russo knows who was in that car. Okay. So then they had to call that cop off en route. Thankfully, they got to that cop before he went there, saying that, oh my gosh, there's been a tragic accident, right? And Mackenzie is being airlifted, and there's two other people, and we want to ask Dom if he knows who the other person could be. Okay. That was just out of this world what they did there. They wanted her to calm down, let her get it out there. Yeah, she wanted to get out. You almost want to come out of your body. Them to put her in that chair and try to hold her there, that's ridiculous. Leave her alone. Okay? They don't know what she's going. She doesn't want to be sat in a chair and pushed down there. They literally left a piece of her soul, and they didn't properly plan how to let her know. Yeah. She literally lost a piece of her soul. Yeah, absolutely. It was horrible. Absolutely horrible how they handled that. And at the end, when she hugs them, that's really heartbreaking that she is going through this unbelievable loss. And they're just like, okay, can we do anything else? And she's like, wait, let me hug you. That's what they should have done. The chaplain should have said a prayer with her. I mean, it was just horrendous. They should have waited. They should have made sure she had support before they did anything. Yeah, Topher didn't know, but they didn't. The important thing is they had no idea how Topher was going to react. And to go get somebody, can you imagine being woken up out of a deep sleep by cops telling you to come out there? Your mother's flailing all over the floor. They say, oh my gosh, Dom's dead. They don't know. What if Topher was so close to him? Like, it was just horrible, horrible. You know, they don't know how he was going to react. What if Topher ran off to do something to himself? It was just horrible. Oh, they're cops putting, they may be in shock, but this is their profession. Okay. The chaplain, he should have been through this. We can't, this is not their child that was lost. Yes, it was a loss, but they're going to inform the mother of this child. If they didn't know what to do, they shouldn't have gone there. They should have sent somebody else. So that was just horrible. I her right to a mobile taking her down. Sit down. Stop. Just breathe. Calm down. Yeah, yeah. That was driving me nuts, Darla. Leave her alone. If she wants to scream, let her scream. If she, it's like some jerk, I'm telling you, some jerk on YouTube. When my son passed, my oldest son, I lost him unexpectedly, and I said something like, when I was going down to the funeral home, I said, I just screamed. I was in my car and I screamed in my car. And there was some jerk on here that said, oh my gosh, screaming in your car. You could have killed somebody. What? Yeah, there's so many sick people that want to tell everybody how they should react, what they should do, what's allowed, what's not allowed. Don't tell me what's allowed. Don't tell anybody what's allowed. First thing I learned, nobody is accountable to anybody for how they grieve. And that chaplain should have said a prayer. Obviously, there's a very, it's Italian family. Italian families are usually Catholic. It was a priest. He should have said a prayer. It's awful. Absolutely awful. Thank you, Just Pepper. Thank you, Evelita. But Topher said, at one point that don't worry, he'll come back to us like a butterfly. But Topher's not all there, Alicia. Topher has mental problems. Val Ventura, I lost my son too, I'll never forget. Yeah, I was home alone and they told me it was Val. Oh, I'm sorry, Val. Yeah, it's horrendous. And left a brochure for resources for help. Yeah. Should have offered to sit with her. He should have had a Bible or something. Yeah, but I mean, I know as she is, the last thing you want to do is sit. You want to run. You almost want to take your skin off and get out of your body. Okay. You just, I wanted to just get outside. I wanted to go outside. I felt I could feel my son outside in nature. But yeah, you want to run. Like I can see what she wanted to do. You don't want to sit her in that chair. Let her do what she wants to do, but they should have been there too. It's just like the way, I don't know, just the way it was handled was just so terrible. It's going to be terrible anyway, but they could have handled it better. And the officer had his card. So the medical examiner's numbers on the back. The look on her face was so bad. Yeah, and she was saying, why can't my kid be in surgery? Why can't he be okay? Then she kept saying, do you know for sure he's not okay? Because that's what a parent always is. Do you know for sure? Are you sure? Are you sure? Even when they know for sure, they're going to ask, do you know for sure that they're not there anymore? Darla says, my dad died suddenly and my step grandma had been looking for me all day to let me know and let my three sisters know. And she made sure I had someone around me because I live in another city. Yeah, that's nice, Darla, that she made sure you had support. Should be illegal to get a notification by phone call. Yeah, that's what they did to Frank. And then they go, are you okay to drive? You know, hey, your son died. Yeah, Dominic was in a crash last night. He's dead. Are you okay to drive? It was something like that. I'm paraphrasing, but it was just about like that what they did to Frank, right? I couldn't understand it, and I said, Grandma, I'm getting on my way. I have to go scream for a few minutes. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Serenity. So yeah, that's just terrible. All right, let's read a little more of this. Okay, let's see. All right. So, she says, I don't know why it's so hard for you to be a good boyfriend. It's so hard for you. He says, why, Kenzie? This is literally not making sense. Like, I'm allowed to want to hang with my mom on Mother's Day. If you're bored, you don't have to be here. I'm going to be here. I'm done texting too. My eyes hurt. She says, and I'm letting you know now we have problems. Hanging with her, that's not the issue. You are once again a shitey arse boyfriend. Not sure when you will learn, probably never, to be honest, because you've been stuck in this for over a year. It's honestly a joke. He says, what? You make no sense. Read, she says. So your little head understands. He says, I'm not doing this. Go relax. I'll come hang out later. This is stupid. She says, I'm letting you know now we have problems. Hang with her. That's not the issue. You're once again a shitey arse boyfriend. Oh gosh, she's putting the same thing again. Oh my gosh. Not sure when you learn, probably never. To be honest, You've been stuck in this for over a year. I'm not watching this gay arse game, BF. I'm staying here. I'm not staying here till 10 watching this boring arse shite, DF. He says, Kenzie, then go relax, go eat an apple and watch the Kardashians or something. What does that have to do with me? She says, you're a shite boyfriend. We have problems. She says, I'm so serious when I say that we have problems. He says, no, I'm not. You're being a shitey girlfriend. She says, oh, are you just repeating me? Are you just repeating what I say? Learn to communicate. You're arse at it. He says, I'm done texting. My eyes actually didn't work. And then she says, good. And your hose won't turn off. And I don't know how to turn it off. So that has just been running, I guess. And I want to let Tom in your house. He wants to come in. He said, I'll come figure it out in a second and don't let him in. She says, why? I guess I'm just sit outside in the cold then. In the cold, it's May 8th, okay? Like egg, WTF. He goes, what do you mean, what? She goes, I guess I'm just going to sit outside in the cold then, since Tom can't come in the house. He says, yeah, I don't want him in the house. He's not my cat. I don't want him thinking he can come over here. She says, he already thinks he can come over. You have 5 minutes to decide if you want to be in a relationship. I will be leaving in 5 minutes. Time's up. He says, Kenzie, I don't care. Your reasons aren't valid. If someone calls me, I'm allowed to answer. She goes, neither are you. Yours. Neither are yours. I don't know what she's talking about. He said, that doesn't mean I'm putting them before you. She goes, I didn't say that. You can't answer. When you start treating your best friend better than me, that's when it becomes a problem. He says, I don't. And he treats me better than you. She says, you do. There's your terrible communication skills right there. I'm telling you what I believe, and you're telling me that it's not true. And then he says he's actually never said any of the terrible things that you say to me. She says, that is how I feel, which means that should be important to you. I mean, I don't think you've ever cheated on Blair with his best friend. I feel like he wouldn't be your friend if you did that. He says, life is right now. If you're stuck on the past, go live in the past somewhere else. I live in the present where I'm happy. She says, you're the one stuck in the past with your same habits. He says, it's easy to be unhappy about the past. She says, I'm not unhappy about the past. I will not forget about the past. I don't need you to try to manipulate me. He says, no, I'm happy in the present. Life is right now. She says, yeah, I mean, if I didn't get cheated on 5 times with all of my friends, I would probably be super happy, but I'm happy every single day with or without you. He says, life is right now. She says, you can't even verbalize that you're not cheating on me. You still message people that I don't want you to talk to, and you can't chase for shite. He says, who do I message? She says, I'm not going to be with a bum boyfriend who thinks they deserve everything when they do nothing. He says, and you don't respect me or give compassion. She says, you're right. I don't respect you because you don't respect me. And I do give a lot of compassion. He says, yeah, all right. No, you don't. She says, that doesn't change the fact that you were a cheater and you don't give love or make me feel loved. You can't reassure me and oopsie, and you can't chase. You don't care about anyone but yourself, he says. She says, I care about my family and my animals. And she says, I don't need you telling me how I feel because you are the last person who knows me. You talk to Blair more than you talk to me. So how would you know? And then he says, this is toxic nonsense. She says, read. He says, yes, all I'm reading is toxic nonsense. I'm not going to explain myself for hours. Things that are self-explanatory. She says, it's not self-explanatory. She says, it's okay. Go in your shell because you know the truth. You can't even tell me to leave to my face. All at the light right now, she says, should have left me the keys. Someone behind you? Another car? Bro, WTF was that sound? A gun? He goes, I have no idea. She goes, okay, well, I'm scared. He says, you'll be fine. Okay, she says, I'm swearing my arse off because you left 0 windows open. I'm sorry. I'm opening a door so I can't breathe. Can. She says, because you left no windows open for me to breathe. Babe, come out. I'm about to die of overheat. He says, turn the car on, babe. I'm coming. She says, how long? I'm not turning on the car. He says, sorry, I wasn't trying to be dry. I just haven't ate anything today and trying to get a lot of things done or going. What you want to do for dinner? She says, I don't know anything. I'm hungry right now. I'm out of the shower. He says, should we just try to make those drumsticks? Sure, she says. We need to do a gluten-free version of it. He says, the track shoot raw. She says, I hate it. It's not cute. He says, I F with that color. Uh-oh. I even have my battery on an external thing, and now it's saying it's all ready. Look at that. It kills us, eh? She says, look what I found on Depop. She says, it's a fake juicy in that video. I want this though so bad. Yeah, go get it yourself, honey. Bro, it's not service in Cleveland. WTF, he says. She says, I'm so pissed right now. He says, let's just get a party bus. She says, I'm for real gonna freak out. He says, then it can drive everyone to my crib after prom. He says, we pop bottles on the way back. She said, who's everyone? Me and you? Literally, it's just us. No one's coming with us. I have no friends. He said, you said we were throwing a party. She said, yeah, but who the F gonna come? He said, well, let's just get a limo. She says, that bald arse N-word ruined it by falling down the stairs. Oh my gosh. What? Is that Kendall that she's talking about? That bald arse N-word ruined it by falling down the stairs? He says, can Def have some people here? She said, the basement is the only good place to have a party. If we don't get a deal on the party bus, let's just get a limo. He says, the thing I contacted is supposed to send my options. It says $650 estimated for the one service. She said, a nice arse limo. Come, come, come. Oh my gosh. She sent a bunch of stuff. She says, did you figure out the limo party bus? He says, not yet. I'll call him back in a little. She said, bro, we need to figure this out today. Also, are you coming to Tan? He says, what he has to get a hold of due to. She says, UV index 7. He says, maybe 10, it depends what I got to do. She said, maybe we shouldn't rely on Sean. He's unreliable as F. Let's just find a limo company or a party bus company. He says, yeah, if not, I can just book that other thing. I'll call him when I'm at the gym. She says, I just want to smoke in it. What are you doing now? What are you doing? She says. He says, I'm about to go up the street, then shower. You cool with chicken sandwiches? She says, I don't want. We just ate. He said, they're going to be a different flavor. Then they're going to be like Chick-fil-A, not like my hot wings. No, she said, I don't want chicken again. Hungry. Good job being dry as F and not chasing. We have problems. Why? I'm so confused. You just said you were leaving. She said, I gave you 2 chances to fix it, but it's really hard for you to do that. He says, yeah. I don't know why. I'm just trying to clean, like I'm done now. You could have just waited 10 minutes or you helped me finish. She said, you could have asked me for help like 30 minutes ago and you could have been a little more not dry, but that's hard for you. You literally act like you don't even want to be in a relationship with me. Like, I'm not your bro, I'm your girlfriend. He says, you could have just helped me. I mean, I have been cleaning for 3 hours. You see me cleaning for 3 hours. You don't even bat an eye to help. You just think I'm a drop what I'm doing to buy you food. She goes, okay, then don't. I'll just go with her like, what the F? He says, I'm just saying, like, at least wait till I'm done. Like, I haven't showered, done shite today, been cleaning all day. Should have just hit up the cleaning lady for real. She goes, I don't know what you're still not getting about this, but I told you I'm leaving at 1. I don't have time to wait for you to be done. She says, I'm going an hour away. Like, what the F? Honestly, just don't text me. You're so dry. He says, okay, Kenzie, you should have told me earlier. She said, I did actually, repeated myself over 3 times, but you're too dry. He said, when? At 12 o'clock? She says, you're not even offering to fix the problem. You're just making it worse. Just stop texting me. He says, you're not trying to fix it either. You're making the problem. You watch me clean for 3 hours straight when you're just watching TikTok and then you expect me to drop what I'm doing to get you snacks. She says, you could have asked me to help you. Don't put this on me when I'm telling you that it was to you. That is why we argue, because you don't fix the problems. You have a hard time understanding what you do wrong. If you're not going to fix the problem, stop effing texting me. Okay, and then he says, like, it's not that big of a deal. I was doing something. You can go without me. I'm not ready. And I didn't know you wanted to go to Allison's then. So how would I know to ask you to help? I wouldn't. You're the one who knows what you have to do. So if you wanted to go to Allison's, you should have started helping. How is hiking? He said. Fun, she says. Want to meet us at the town hall? Dom, you can meet us at the town hall. I wish, babe. I got to make this money, though. Liked fun. Movie night, she says. Popcorn? Chocolate? Yeah, of course. Oh, yay. Sip? Yes, he says. Okay, I'll find a movie. You look too. Okay, that reminds me, I've got to look at your thing. 61% want a movie night. Oh, no. Okay, so we got to do a movie night. All right. So I'm going to put the Zoom link. I'm going to put the Zoom link for the members, and for Patreons, you can come in to Zoom. You don't have to have your camera on. Of course, you don't have to put it on. Just shut it off if you don't want it on. When we go off the air, then we'll pick the movie. But I'll do the word game. Let me just put the thing in the members thing. Hang on a minute. But that's a lot of reading for tonight. My hands are falling asleep because I'm holding that with 30. What are we at? 29,802. And I think we started off at 28,006. So I read over 1,000 pages. I think I've read 1,200 pages. Is that correct? Wait a minute. I think that's right. Is that right? Okay, let me see here. Let me just do this. Do your channel posts. Okay. Member movie night. Okay. That's for that. And let me just really quick go to the Patreon. Then we'll do the word game. And then we'll do let me see here. Dashboard. Write a post. Oh, there, my thing is dying here. So hang on a second. And I'm not going to hear anybody if I don't. They're my low power. Hang on one second. Let me just get to this thing. Create. Let me just do the post here. Post. Come on, baby. Right. Okay. There we go. Publish. Your post is live. Okay, so we got the post up. I did that. Let's do the word cookie. And then I will switch over my audio. We'll get the daily puzzle up here. Let me go back to you guys. Where are you? Right there. Okay. Let's see. Hi, Heart Made Wise. Okay, let's do our, uh-oh. What happened? Oh, no. Wait a minute. I'm in the wrong one. I can't find you guys. Where did you go? There you are. Okay. Whew. Okay. Thanks for doing this, Carolyn. We really learned so much from you reading the text. Oh, thanks, Alicia. Let's see. You guys are already on here. Look at you. Humanly. Okay. Do we have play, hey. Okay, what else you guys got here? May. Right. Okay. Hi, Petunia. How did Dom's phone say charge? I know, right? Crazy. Well, thank you, Val. You're welcome. Okay, yam. We have yam. And Unlay. Nope. Manly. Like that's what Laura called Almanzo, manly. Any. Right. All. Okay. How about him? How about oh, many? We don't have many in there? Good. Tunya. Oh, man, did we not do man? Good job. Pepper. Mall, good, Alicia. Mall. Serenity, good. Hun, Hun, I don't think that's, yeah, we're past that one. M, we're between M and but nay. Okay, and then we need something above hall. It's going to be 4 letters. It's, oh, how about, no. Okay, alum. All right, now more. Many, more. What do you have? Luna, no, we're past that. It goes in alphabetical order. Many, may. Okay, let's see. Let's shake them up. Shake them up. Hopefully you can still hear me because this thing has not run out of juice yet. Oh, we got Chrissy. I don't know yet. What should we watch, Scooter? We'll have to decide something. We have to decide something. Good night, Pudding. Looney, yeah. Hold on. Let me get out of this thing here so I can hear if someone's trying to buzz in because I just realized. Hold on a sec. I just realized I don't have the right sound on, and I'm not going to hear because I don't have this sound on. And that's what I need on. Okay, MSL, hula. So if you want to come into the Zoom, do you see the post, guys? If you're a member of Patreon, you should see the post. It'll be in the community post. Hi, Love Life Gal. We're going to go on and watch a movie. Do you see that? Sweet dreams, Love Life. Okay, I guess we're going to do this. We're going to just use one of our little things and see. Okay, so this is why I tried. You know what? I was close. I had those letters marked. Oh, I know what this is. Hymnal, right? Hymnal. Hymnal. Got it. We got it. Okay. So we need our people. We need all people. I've got to put my, hold on, I'll be right there. I've got to put this on the charger. So come on in. So I can put this on the charger. This has to get redone. Puddin'. Debbie to Scooter, good night, my friend. Okay. Oh, gosh. Scooter, come up here so they see how it's done. Show them how it's done. There's probably some, Alicia, you know how to do it. Amy, where's Amy? Come on, Amy, you know how to do this. Watch, Debbie True Scooter will show you how it's done. See?
Oh, I'm here.
That's all it is. You're going to bed, Alicia? You need to do some breathing exercises to calm your nerves. You should come in here and calm your nerves.
I thought you said other people were in.
I said show them how it's done.
Oh, okay.
Where's Amy? She's the one that wanted to have a movie night, too.
Come on, guys. Come on in. We don't bite.
Alessia's bowing out.
Come on, guys. Don't be chicken. Come on. Get in here.
Where is Heart Made Wise? She always goes to the movie nights.
Yeah.
Heart Made Wise, what are you doing?
Come on now. Come on. Carolyn has a lot of cool channels.
Heart Made Wise. Where's she?
Come on, guys.
What else do I have to embarrass? Call in there. What happened to Amy?
Come on, Amy.
Where'd she go? Ash Bish.
The whole time. Come on. You can leave if you want. Just come on in.
Yeah, don't be scared.
If you don't like what it is, you can leave.
Scooter makes you feel uncomfortable.
I leave all the time. You don't have to stay.
Ash Bish.
See what it is.
You spent the day with your 3 grandsons. You're beat. Oh my goodness. Where's Amy?
Come on. Just hit that link. You don't have to turn your camera on. You don't have to talk. Lots of people do that. They don't say a word. They just come in.
We're going to watch. I don't know. We're going to watch. I don't know what we're going to watch. Just Pepper. It depends who gets their butts in here.
Yeah, she has a lot of stuff we could watch. You have anything on this case, Carol?
Scooter likes to watch that stupid, what was that thing you like to watch? That stupid deposition or something?
Oh, yeah, but
What-
we won't watch that.
No, but I don't even, I don't know why you found that so funny.
I think it's hilarious.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it popped up again. a few
Really?
weeks ago for me.
What was
Yeah,
the guy's
I didn't
name?
watch it. What is it?
It wasn't Cletus or something, was
Yeah,
it?
I think it was. I think it was Cletus something.
Oh my
Tells
gosh,
all these
which is
big
this
fat
old guy, what
lies.
was he, a scammer or something?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's like, how many hours long? 9 hours long? It's
Takes all
nuts.
these, took all this money from people, different people.
Yeah.
He has an answer for everything. But he couldn't produce one receipt, remember?
Alessio, do you think we're going to be on tomorrow night?
Well, when isn't Carolyn on? There's been very few nights.
Jen Grill still asks me that every day and Zoom. Are you going on tonight? And then she goes, oh gosh, I don't know why I keep asking you that.
So cute, Jen.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you guys are so cute.
Well, all right. We'll see if you'll get brave. Maybe they're scared because we're on air. I'll get us off the air and we'll see if anybody gets brave.
Yeah, we're going to give you a few minutes.
All right. God bless
Otherwise,
you
I'm
guys that
gonna
are
leave
leaving
too.
us. So we love you. Stay safe and we'll talk to you tomorrow. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, Just Pepper. All right. We'll see you tomorrow, guys. Bye.
Don't
Love
be
you.
like Mackenzie.